Chapter 999. 4 months later, Zhao Feng followed Sacred Lord Star Demon to the Ji family of Yu Province. The Ji family was located in the middle of a mountain forest. Streams flowed on all sides, and the purple mist was hazy. Without a special secret technique or a disciple of the Ji family leading the way, normal people wouldn't even be able to find the Ji family. This is indeed a paradise. Zhao Feng sighed. The purple mist that floated around the Ji family was not only hazy and beautiful, but it also had a hypnotic effect, causing those who were enjoying the scenery to hallucinate. At the same time, the disciples of the Ji family had a strong resistance against illusions after staying in this environment for a long time. Little friend Zhao should be here to exchange eye bloodline techniques, right? Sacred Lord Star Demon said with a smile. Although he had used the Ji family's eye bloodline to invite Zhao Feng was here. But now that Zhao Feng was here, he naturally couldn't unconditionally open the Ji family's treasury to Zhao Feng. In other words, even Zhao Feng would have to take out some precious eye bloodline techniques, such as his mysterious eye bloodline technique. This junior is here to learn from you. Zhao Feng smiled awkwardly. He knew that Sacred Lord Star Demon was very interested in his ability to disintegrate. Zhao Feng also knew that the ability of his left eye was very unique. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to cheat in the maze palace. Zhao Feng obviously wasn't willing to reveal his disintegration technique. Even if he did, there probably wasn't any eye bloodline in the continent zone that could use it. The golden ripple was created by the mysterious golden ball, and the Heaven's Legacy race automaton judged it to be the light of dispersion. This was the first time Zhao Feng had heard of the light of dispersion, and he didn't know much about it. It was best if he didn't reveal it. Little friend Zhao is too humble. No one in the younger generation of the Ji family is your match. Sacred Lord Star Demon's expression changed slightly. Zhao Feng's unwillingness to pay made him somewhat displeased. Even if Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique was very precious, could it compare to the Ji family's collection? Ji Lan and Ji Wuya couldn't help but lower their heads when they heard this. Ji Dengtian and Ji Bai's expressions darkened. Not only the younger generation of the Ji family, even the previous generation of the Ji family was not a match for Zhao Feng. Also, there's another reason why I'm here. I need your help with something. Zhao Feng thought for a while and said directly. What is it? Tell me about it. Sacred Lord Star Demon's expression remained the same. He thought that Zhao Feng came to the Ji family to learn the eye technique. He didn't expect that Zhao Feng had other matters to attend to. I want to get some information about someone in Yuzhou. Zhao Feng spoke bluntly. Oh, alone. Sacred Lord Star Demon and the other members of the Ji family revealed curious expressions. With Zhao Feng's status in the force behind the Ninth Prince, Old Ying, and Zhao Feng's own intelligence network, this person was definitely not simple. The inheritor of the eyes of Samsara. Zhao Feng said calmly. The other members of the Ji clan were shocked. The person Zhao Feng wanted to find was the inheritor of one of the 8 great god eyes. They had heard about the eyes of Samsara before. Several thousand years ago, they had appeared on the continent and then disappeared. Sacred Lord Star Demon's expression paused for a moment before he spoke. I can help you with this. Thank you very much. Zhao Feng said with a faint smile. The group soon arrived at the Ji family. Sacred Lord Star Demon led Zhao Feng into the inner part of the Ji family. Little friend Zhao, since you're looking for someone, why don't you stay at the Ji family for now? Sacred Lord Star Demon said. Then I'll be troubling you. Zhao Feng immediately agreed. Finding someone wasn't something that could be done in just 1 or 2 days. Furthermore, he obviously couldn't use his superhuman browsing abilities to browse through the Ji family's eye bloodline technique collection. If he did, it would take longer, but Zhao Feng didn't mind. Ji Lan, arrange a place for little friend Zhao and his friends to stay. Sacred Lord Star Demon ordered before disappearing into the purple mist. Thank you. Zhao Feng said courteously. Ji Lan then led Zhao Feng, by Qingyue, and company to a beautiful garden. Everyone can stay here for now. Ji Lan left after saying that. Master, Qingyue thinks that Sacred Lord Star Demon should know something about the eyes of Samsara. Bai Qingyue spoke after Ji Lan left. I can see that. Zhao Feng's expression became grim. However, there was nothing he could do if Sacred Lord Star Demon wasn't willing to say it. Before leaving, Zhao Feng would ask again and try to get some information from Sacred Lord Star Demon. All of you can stay here for now. If you have time, you can walk around and get to know some of the upper echelon members of the Ji family. Zhao Feng walked into a room after giving the order. Ji Lan came by herself the next morning. Zhao Feng, Sacred Lord Star Demon invites you. Ji Lan then led Zhao Feng to a secret hall in the forest. Come in. Sacred Lord Star Demon's voice sounded from within the hall. Ji Lan's heart jumped. If Sacred Lord Star Demon said that they could all come in, that meant that she could go in as well. This was Sacred Lord Star Demon's personal residence, and some of Sacred Lord Star Demon's personal treasures were even more precious than the family's. They might even be able to see Sacred Lord Star Demon's incomplete eye bloodline technique. The interior of the hall was dim, and the layout was simple. These are all my personal treasures. Little friend Zhao can look through the bookshelves on the left, but you'll have to stop at the ones on the right. Sacred Lord Star Demon said arrogantly. Although there were only 2 rows of bookshelves here, the contents recorded inside were all rare in the outside world. Zhao Feng glanced at the bookshelves on the right. There was a white screen in front of the bookshelves, and runes of different colors flowed on the screen. Zhao Feng didn't say anything and started to look through the contents on the bookshelves on the left. You can take a look as well. Sacred Lord Star Demon said to Ji Lan. With Sacred Lord Star Demon's permission, Ji Lan immediately flipped through the books with Zhao Feng. However, every single book here contained an incomparably vast amount of knowledge. It would take a while just to memorize all of them in a short period of time. Zhao Feng casually took out a book that explained the principles behind eye bloodline techniques. If Zhao Feng had been able to read this book when he first started learning eye bloodline techniques, his mastery of eye bloodline techniques would have increased by leaps and bounds. From the looks of it, Sacred Lord Star Demon's personal treasures are indeed all precious eye bloodline techniques. Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. Although the contents of these books couldn't be compared to the Xie Yang book in the ancient god's mysterious palace, these books were all related to eye bloodlines. However, these books were all about eye bloodlines and were extremely useful to Zhao Feng. Ordinary great emperors would need 2 hours to memorize the contents of each book. Although Zhao Feng could directly absorb the contents into his left eye, Sacred Lord Star Demon and Ji Lan were present, so he had to memorize them as he read. He couldn't show off too much. I wonder if there's any progress in finding the inheritor of the eyes of Samsara? Zhao Feng asked as he browsed through a book. Actually, the inheritor of the eyes of Samsara came to the Ji family several thousand years ago. Sacred Lord Star Demon said something that surprised even Ji Lan this time. Even she didn't know about this even though she was a disciple of the Ji family. Zhao Feng paused for a moment. He didn't expect Sacred Lord Star Demon to answer his casual question. From the looks of it, there were too many outsiders present, so Sacred Lord Star Demon didn't say anything. At that time, he also came to read the Ji family's eye bloodline techniques, and he even left behind some of his eye bloodline techniques and theories. Sacred Lord Star Demon revealed even more secret information. The eye bloodline techniques and theories of the eyes of Samsara. Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. The eye bloodline techniques and theories of the eyes of Samsara were similar to the dark eye secret technique that Zhao Feng had obtained from Duan Muqing. However, there was no doubt that the inheritor of the eyes of Samsara had left behind something even more precious. However, the Ji family doesn't know much about him. He might still be in Yu province. Sacred Lord Star Demon added. Thank you, Senior Star Demon, for telling me. Zhao Feng clasped his hands in thanks. Not only did Sacred Lord Star Demon tell Zhao Feng about his personal stash, he also told Zhao Feng such secret information. The things he left behind are on the bookshelf to your right. Sacred Lord Star Demon revealed a cunning smile. Zhao Feng smiled helplessly and immersed himself into the book in his hand. On the other side, Ji Lan didn't care about Zhao Feng's presence at all. She focused on memorizing as much information as she could so that she could comprehend it when she returned. Time passed by, and the light became dimmer, but the 2 in the room didn't notice anything. All right, this old man is going to rest. Jilan, take little friend Zhao back. Sacred Lord Star Demon's voice sounded from the room next door. Understood. Jilan couldn't bear to put the book in her hand back on the bookshelf. Young Sir Zhao, please leave with me. Jilan looked at Zhao Feng and didn't have the complicated emotions she had before. If it wasn't for Zhao Feng, she wouldn't have been able to read Sacred Lord Star Demon's personal stash. She had to thank Zhao Feng. One had to know that even Ji Wuye, Sacred Lord Star Demon's disciple, had only been here for one day. Why are you looking for the eyes of Samsara? Jilan asked on the way. The last time the eyes of Samsara appeared was 1,000 years ago. Logically speaking, it was impossible for Zhao Feng to have anything to do with it. The eyes of Samsara can help me find an important person. Zhao Feng replied simply. Oh. Jilan nodded. She seemed to understand, but not really. At this moment, 3 members of the Ji family walked toward them. Jilan, you're back. One of them was a handsome young man with purple hair. His face was filled with excitement as he walked over. And I just came back. Jilan revealed a helpless expression. This is? Ji Lian looked at Zhao Feng with unfriendliness. The 2 members of the Ji family behind him looked at Zhao Feng and revealed expressions as if they were watching a show. Everyone knew that Ji Lian loved Jilan, so a beauty like Jilan didn't have any suitors among the younger generation of the Ji family. They didn't expect this outsider to be so close to Jilan. He's a guest of the Ji family, Zhao Feng. Jilan answered honestly. The 3 members of the Ji family revealed weird expressions. Wasn't Zhao Feng the purple-haired demonic duo from the divine illusion dimension? He should have been a thief that had stolen many treasures from the Ji family. How did he become a guest of the Ji family and hang out with Jilan? Jilan finally realized something when she saw their expressions. The news of the Crown Prince trial might not have reached their ears yet. Right now, the 18 provinces only knew that the 9th prince had become the Crown Prince in this Crown Prince trial. Zhao Feng? I don't care that you stole the treasures of the Ji family in the divine illusion dimension, but I won't allow you to be so close to Jilan in the future. Ji Lian's tone changed as he warned Zhao Feng. Chapter 1000. Zhao Feng? I don't care that you stole the Ji family's treasures in the divine illusion dimension, but I won't allow you to be so close to Jilan in the future. Ji Lian's tone instantly changed. Even though Zhao Feng was a guest of the Ji family, he didn't need to be polite with Zhao Feng. This was the pride of the 8 big families. Jilan paused for a moment and was about to stop Ji Lian. With Zhao Feng's current status and the force behind him, even the Ji family didn't want to offend him openly. If the 9th prince successfully became the emperor, then the force behind Zhao Feng would become even stronger. They might be able to surpass the Ji family in just a few hundred years. However, Jilan was thinking that Zhao Feng might be able to help her get rid of Ji Lian. Then I'll be leaving first, Jilan. Zhao Feng's expression didn't change as he said goodbye to Jilan. Jilan's expression changed. She didn't expect Zhao Feng to leave so calmly. She didn't want to face Ji Lian alone. She was about to say something to Zhao Feng, but she realized that she wasn't familiar with Zhao Feng at all. Zhao Feng glanced at Ji Lian before leaving. This was the Ji family's territory, and Zhao Feng owed Sacred Lord Star Demon a big favor, so Zhao Feng didn't want to cause trouble. Did you hear what I just said? Ji Lian's expression became grim as he saw Zhao Feng leave calmly, as if Zhao Feng had completely ignored his words. You don't need to care about my business. Zhao Feng's voice was cold as he continued to leave. What? Ji Lian's face went slightly red. Zhao Feng's words showed that he didn't put him in his eyes at all. Where do you get your freedom in the Ji family? Ji Lian instantly turned around, and his faint purple eyes released a ripple of eye bloodline power. No! Jilan immediately stopped him. He didn't expect Ji Lian to attack. However, it was too late. The eye bloodline technique only lasted for an instant. A layer of invisible chains made of purple mist appeared around Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng still walked away slowly, as if he wasn't affected at all. Ji Lian's face was ashen, even though he wasn't a diligent cultivator. However, he had already made his move, yet there was no effect at all. Beside him, there were a few other disciples of the same age watching. This caused him to lose all face. Ji Lian immediately released all of his eye intent. Ji Lian was an Emperor realm expert. Although his attainments in ocular techniques were average among the Ji clan's disciples, his ocular technique was enough to imprison a peak Emperor realm expert in the outside world. Zhao Feng frowned slightly. Although he was not affected by Ji Lian's eye technique, he was annoyed by Ji Lian's interference. Even if Zhao Feng leaves today, there is no guarantee that Ji Lian will not come looking for trouble next time. After all, Zhao Feng will be staying at Ji family for a period of time. Zhao Feng suddenly turned around, and a purple-golden luster appeared in his left eye, which extended into a bottomless abyss that exuded a fatal attraction. In an instant, Ji Lian's illusion collapsed. What? Ji Lian's eyes twitched, and he instinctively looked at Zhao Feng's eyes. In the next instant, Ji Lian arrived at a purple maze. The maze was covered in thick fog, and wind and lightning boomed above. Ji Lian, what's wrong? A Ji clan disciple beside Ji Lian noticed that Ji Lian was standing there like a fool, not moving at all. Ji Lian didn't react to their words at all. The two tried to use various eye techniques, but there was no effect. What did you do to Ji Lian? The two disciples panicked. From this scene, they could obviously see Zhao Feng's strength. Even so, Zhao Feng dared to make a move against Ji Lian. He was destined to suffer. Zhao Feng turned around and left, ignoring them. At this moment, Ji Lan also left with Zhao Feng. You didn't do anything to him, right? Ji Lan looked at Zhao Feng with lingering fear in her heart. Even with her mastery in illusions, she was still very surprised. What kind of illusion did Zhao Feng use to have such an effect on a disciple of the Ji family? One had to know that the disciples of the Ji family had the purple star eyes, and they were mostly immune to illusions. Adding on the fact that the disciples of the Ji family specialized in Soul Dao illusions, they would definitely be able to break through it easily. He will recover in a while, Zhao Feng said after thinking about it. The illusion just now was a new technique that Zhao Feng had created by combining the Eye of Illusion and the Purple Star Days that he had secretly learned from Sacred Lord Star Demon's secret hall. Not only could it drag the enemy's consciousness into its own illusion dimension, but it could also change the enemy's five senses and divine sense, creating the illusion that it was real and making the enemy fall into an illusion. Normal people would know that everything in front of them was fake when they fell into an illusion, so they would be able to break free. However, what if the person who fell into the illusion thought that everything around them was real? Of course, the illusion just now was just Zhao Feng's first attempt. He needed to read more books on illusions and eye bloodline techniques in order to perfect it. Zhao Feng felt that he needed to pick up the Soul Dao illusions that he had left behind in the past. Oh! Ji Lan nodded her head. Although she knew that Zhao Feng's eye bloodline techniques were powerful, she didn't expect him to have such high mastery in illusions as well. But you need to be careful of Ji Lian. He might come looking for trouble again. Ji Lan warned, but she immediately felt that there was no need. Sacred Lord Star Demon had invited Zhao Feng, and adding on Zhao Feng's own strength, it would be hard for Ji Lian to do anything to Zhao Feng. Even the upper echelon of the Ji family behind Ji Lian wouldn't make things difficult for Zhao Feng for Ji Lian. Zhao Feng started to comprehend what he had read today after returning to his residence. He also split a part of his consciousness to cultivate the 10,000 divine thoughts technique and comprehend the intent of destruction within the God Tribulation Lightning. The Tao of Illusions had two main paths of development. The first was the Tao of Illusions, which affected the soul to a certain degree. The second was the Tao of Illusions, which used illusions as a supplement to other attacks. However, most of the disciples of the Ji family chose the path of illusions. The understanding of illusions in the Ji family's collection is definitely the best in the continent. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. He still remembered that Meng Shi from the Thousand Darkness Sacred Clan had the bloodline of the Nightmare race, which was ranked 339th among the 10,000 ancient races. She could use illusions to affect reality. This was a special ability of the 10,000 ancient races, but it could also be considered illusions. If one cultivated the Tao of illusions to a certain level, they might also have the power of the 10,000 ancient races. Master! Bai Qingyue's voice sounded nearby. What is it? Zhao Feng could communicate with by Qingyue through the Dark Heart Seal. If Master wants to study the Tao of Illusions, you can go to the Ji family's Purple Star Tower. Bai Qingyue suggested. The Ji family's Purple Star Tower was famous across the continent for cultivating the soul and illusions. Many disciples of the Ji family used their family contribution points to exchange for time to enter the Purple Star Tower. However, she believed that Zhao Feng definitely didn't know about the Purple Star Tower. Purple Star Tower? Zhao Feng paused for a moment. He really didn't know about this. Bai Qingyue then told Zhao Feng about the Purple Star Tower. In the morning of the second day, Ji Lan arrived once again. Zhao Feng, Sacred Lord Star Demon invites you over. The two then went to Sacred Lord Star Demon's private hall and started to comprehend and study just like yesterday. Ji Lan was extremely excited. She didn't expect that she would still be able to stay here and browse through the precious books with Zhao Feng. At the same time, Ji Lan could guess Sacred Lord Star Demon's intentions. He wanted to give her a chance to be alone with Zhao Feng. Ji Lan smiled bitterly. She couldn't deny that any girl would be tempted by a peerless genius like Zhao Feng. However, she didn't have the confidence to make Zhao Feng fall in love with her. Ji Lan was also very surprised as to why Sacred Lord Star Demon had such high hopes for Zhao Feng. The room became pitch black as the lights started to dim. Senior Star Demon, this junior wants to see the contents of the bookshelf on the right. Zhao Feng messaged Sacred Lord Star Demon, who was in the next room. Oh! Sacred Lord Star Demon's figure instantly arrived next to Zhao Feng with anticipation. Zhao Feng handed over the Dark Eye secret technique that he had already imprinted to Sacred Lord Star Demon. Dark Eye secret technique? The Dark Eye of Death. Sacred Lord Star Demon took the book from Zhao Feng's hands and started to flip through it. Little friend Zhao, this is all about death and the soul. It's a bit vague, but the contents might be very useful to some disciples of the Ji family. Sacred Lord Star Demon smiled faintly and spoke in a roundabout tone. Zhao Feng smiled. He didn't have much hope in the first place. He was only at the small origin core realm when he obtained the Dark Eye secret technique. Although the Emperor of Death's mastery in eye bloodline techniques was high, it couldn't compare to the strongest eye bloodline families in the continent zone. It was within Zhao Feng's expectations that Sacred Lord Star Demon didn't care about the Dark Eye secret technique. However, he wouldn't reveal the theory behind how Zhao Feng's God Eye was broken down. Then what about the Soul Eye refining technique? Zhao Feng thought about it but didn't take it out in the end. The Soul Eye refining technique was the most valuable eye-stealing technique in the Heaven's Legacy City. Furthermore, the eye-stealing technique itself was harmful to the world, and Zhao Feng had the God's spiritual eye. Therefore, Zhao Feng took out the other soul-cultivating technique. Soul-splitting technique? Sacred Lord Star Demon was slightly curious as he took the item from Zhao Feng's hands. Okay. Sacred Lord Star Demon's sudden words scared Ji Lan quite a bit. What kind of secret technique can make Sacred Lord Star Demon so excited? Ji Lan's heart started to beat faster, and she admired Zhao Feng even more. Sacred Lord Star Demon closed the book in his hands after a long time and said with a smile, "Little friend Zhao has 3 days to enter the bookshelf on the right." Zhao Feng smiled faintly. Although the soul-splitting technique only had the first level of the skill, the thought process of the skill was extremely bold and it could topple tradition. Furthermore, the automatons in the Heaven's Legacy City had a very high evaluation of this technique. Zhao Feng believed that Sacred Lord Star Demon was someone with good eyes. Ji Lan was stunned. In her memory, the bookshelf on the right of Sacred Lord Star Demon had only been opened to one person. There were very few books inside, but they were all extremely valuable and rare on the continent. Also, if little friend Zhao wants to perfect the soul-splitting technique, there might be something you need inside. Sacred Lord Star Demon reminded Zhao Feng before leaving. In another luxurious palace of the Ji family. Great-grandfather, Zhao Feng made a move against me and made Lianer lose all face. Ji Lian knelt in front of a hall. You've lost face for the Ji family. A hazy and old voice sounded out of nowhere. Yes, Lianer knows that he was wrong, but that Zhao Feng. Ji Lian's heart jumped as he continued to speak. He's a guest that Sacred Lord Star Demon brought over. The old voice stopped Ji Lian's words. Ji Lian instantly paused. Disappointment flashed through his eyes, and he didn't say anything else. However, the Ji family is the force behind the 8th prince. Sacred Lord Star Demon didn't discuss it with me before befriending the force behind the 9th prince. The old voice sounded once more. Chapter 1001. At this point in time, the white barrier in front of the bookshelf on the right had disappeared. Zhao Feng stepped in, and Ji Lan's heart jumped. Although the barrier was gone, she didn't dare to enter without Sacred Lord Star Demon's permission. Zhao Feng picked up a random book and started to flip through it. Analysis of Fire Eye Bloodline Techniques? Zhao Feng paused for a moment. Most of the books on the left were related to the Tao of Illusions, and they were useful for the purple star eyes of the Ji family. On the right, there were all kinds of eye bloodline techniques, as well as some obscure theoretical knowledge. Zhao Feng flipped through the books while looking for something he was interested in. Found it, the Samsara Death Eyes. There weren't many books here, so Zhao Feng soon found what he needed. The eyes of samsara contain the laws of samsara, and they can extract the soul of the dead from the samsara of heaven and earth. They can then be reborn in the samsara of death. Zhao Feng finished reading the book. The eyes of samsara were related to the laws of heaven and earth, and the samsara of death was a unique existence that couldn't be replicated. Therefore, even if there was a detailed analysis of the eyes of samsara's unique eye bloodline techniques, it was almost impossible to use them with other eye bloodlines. In order to revive someone, one must first place a mark of samsara on their body. Zhao Feng understood. The eyes of samsara could only extract a soul that had a mark of samsara on it from the laws of heaven and earth. The power of samsara was everywhere, and its ability to travel through space was extremely strong. It could do it even from several 100 million miles away. This was why the Emperor of Death was able to be revived even though he was far away from the continent zone. Not everyone who dies can be revived through the eyes of samsara. Zhao Feng's expression became dim as he continued to read. The soul that revives from the samsara of death can't enter the body of another. It can only reside in the samsara immortal bodies created by the eyes of samsara. Since the samsara immortal bodies are also created by the samsara of death, they can't die. Zhao Feng was stunned, but he seemed to understand a little. Samsara existed in heaven and earth, and the eyes of samsara were a product of the laws of samsara. This meant that the eyes of samsara had their own world. Everything in the samsara of death was equivalent to leaving this world. The owner of the eyes of samsara was the ruler of the samsara of death. My God, I also seems to have a world. Zhao Feng thought of the ancient dream realm. However, the ancient dream realm wasn't under Zhao Feng's control. Perhaps only when Zhao Feng's God Eye completely awakened could he become the ruler of that world. In addition, Zhao Feng also thought that there seemed to be a space of death in the Eye of Death, but he wasn't very clear about its abilities. In other words, the 8 great God Eyes and their bloodline inheritances all seem to have their own independent world of laws. Through his detailed understanding of the eyes of samsara and Zhao Feng's knowledge, Zhao Feng's understanding of the Eye of Samsara was extremely profound. He gained a deeper understanding of the 8 great God Eyes. A while later, Zhao Feng finished reading. The entire Samsara Death Eyes introduces the Samsara of death, but it only mentions one thing about the Samsara of life. After a certain amount of time after death, the Samsara of life has a way to reincarnate. Zhao Feng was stunned. As expected, the eyes of samsara had the legendary ability to revive the dead. However, it wasn't a cure, but a way to revive. This method seems to be extremely similar to Lu Qinxin's revival. Zhao Feng softly murmured. Overall, Zhao Feng had a certain understanding of the abilities of the eyes of samsara. If it wasn't necessary, Zhao Feng didn't want to become enemies with the eyes of samsara. After reading through the Samsara Death Eyes, Zhao Feng spent some time reading other books. The rarity of every book here wasn't much different from the Samsara Death Eyes. A while later, Zhao Feng looked at an ancient book in his hand, the Soul Recovery Divine Technique. Before Zhao Feng even saw the contents, the author of the Soul Recovery Divine Technique, attracted Zhao Feng's attention. It's actually the author of the 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique and the Soul Splitting Technique. Zhao Feng finally understood what Sacred Lord Star Demon meant. He just hoped that this book wasn't incomplete as well. Zhao Feng then started to flip through it. So detailed! Zhao Feng exclaimed. This Soul Recovery Divine Art wasn't just a cultivation technique, it also contained many cultivation insights and theoretical analysis. This technique could refine the soul, but its main use was to increase the recovery ability of the soul. Just like the body, the soul had a certain recovery ability, and it would only show itself when it was injured. However, the recovery ability of the soul was very slow. Therefore, most people would carry some herbs to heal the soul. This Soul Recovery Divine Technique doesn't have much practical use. Zhao Feng evaluated. Even if one cultivated the Soul Recovery Divine Technique to the peak, its recovery ability wouldn't be as good as some precious herbs to heal the soul. Furthermore, the requirements for cultivating the Soul Recovery Divine Technique were very high. Even those that specialized in the soul might not be able to do it. However, the last line of words attracted Zhao Feng's attention. Cultivating the Soul Recovery Divine Technique can increase the success rate of cultivating the Soul Splitting Technique. Zhao Feng had high hopes for the Soul Splitting Technique. Furthermore, after reading through this ancient book, Zhao Feng realized that cultivating the 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique could increase the effectiveness of the Soul Recovery Divine Technique. Looks like the Soul Splitting Technique isn't the continuation of the 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique. There's another Soul Recovery Divine Technique in between. Zhao Feng immediately memorized the contents of the Soul Recovery Divine Technique. Luckily, the level of this technique wasn't high. With Zhao Feng's current soul attainment and learning ability, he would be able to cultivate it in no time. Maybe the author thought of the Soul Splitting Technique first but found that ordinary people couldn't cultivate it. Then, he created the 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique and the Soul Recovery Divine Technique. Zhao Feng finally understood how precious the Soul Splitting Technique was. No wonder the mechanical puppet in the Tianji city said that the complete Soul Splitting Technique was at least a top-tier heaven-grade technique. Before cultivating the Soul Splitting Technique, one had to cultivate 2 basic techniques, and the requirements of these 2 basic techniques were extremely high. For example, Duanmu Qing had cultivated the 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique for thousands of years, but he still hadn't reached a high level. Luckily, Zhao Feng's 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique was about to reach the peak, and Zhao Feng was confident that he could cultivate the Soul Recovery Divine Technique in a short time. Zhao Feng couldn't help but have a better impression of the Soul Splitting Technique. No wonder Sacred Lord Star Demon was so interested in the Soul Splitting Technique. Sacred Lord Star Demon must have a certain understanding of the 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique, and he has the Soul Recovery Divine Technique. Zhao Feng couldn't help but wonder if Sacred Lord Star Demon wanted to cultivate the Soul Splitting Technique as well. Sacred Lord Star Demon's voice sounded when Zhao Feng memorized the contents of the Soul Recovery Divine Technique. Looks like little friend learned a lot today. Come back tomorrow. Ji Lan looked at the bookshelf that Zhao Feng was on and revealed a look of desire. Zhao Feng put down the book in his hand and said humbly, I heard that the Ji family's Purple Star Tower is extremely famous in the continent, and it's extremely helpful for condensing the soul and cultivating illusions. Fine, I'll give you a Purple Star token. A 6-star purple token floated in front of Zhao Feng after saying that. Purple Star token. Ji Lan was surprised. One had to know that the disciples of the Ji family had to pay a large amount of contribution points to enter the Purple Star Tower, and the time was limited. The Purple Star token was usually given to disciples of the Ji family when they made great contributions or when they participated in competitions. Although the Purple Star token could only enter the Purple Star Tower once, there was no time limit. Thank you, Senior. Zhao Feng took the token and clasped his hands together. Zhao Feng and Ji Lan then left Sacred Lord Star Demon's private hall. At night, Zhao Feng started to cultivate the 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique and the Soul Recovery Divine Technique at the same time. A technique that can increase the recovery ability of the soul is equivalent to body strengthening techniques. Zhao Feng estimated that he would be able to reach the peak of the 10,000 divine thoughts technique in just a few months. This was the first time that Zhao Feng had come into contact with the soul recovery divine technique, so his cultivation speed was extremely fast. He reached the 3rd level in just one night. After cultivating the soul recovery divine technique, Zhao Feng realized that his soul had a sliver of indescribable activity. The next morning, Jilan arrived as expected. Zhao Feng, let me take you to the Purple Star Tower. This was actually Sacred Lord Star Demon's order, but Jilan didn't mind. Because of Zhao Feng, she had already borrowed books from Sacred Lord Star Demon's private library for 2 days. However, the number of books she had truly memorized was less than 10. Let's go. Zhao Feng walked out of the room. The Purple Star Tower was the most famous cultivation ground of the Ji family. It was because of the existence of the Purple Star Tower that the disciples of the Ji family were so talented and had a strong foundation in the soul and the Tao of illusions. Some forces from the outside world would use large amounts of resources to exchange for the right to enter the Purple Star Tower of the Ji family. This was also why some of the families of the 8 big families were able to maintain their reputation even though they weren't very strong. The 8 big families all had their own foundations, and they relied on their own abilities to establish good relationships with the forces from the outside world. The Purple Star Tower was located in the center of the Ji family, and many disciples came and went. The news that Zhao Feng had come to the Ji family had spread yesterday. Look, it's Zhao Feng. Ji Lan wouldn't have fallen for Zhao Feng, right? Impossible. I think that Ji Lian will come and cause trouble for Zhao Feng very soon. The passing disciples discussed animatedly. The senses of experts that specialized in the soul were extremely strong, so Ji Lan's face went slightly red when she heard this. Compared to Ji Lian, Zhao Feng was indeed much better. Ji Lan couldn't help but think. Elder, we want to enter the Purple Star Tower. Ji Lan said to the elders in charge in front of the Purple Star Tower. At the same time, Zhao Feng took out his Purple Star token. A Purple Star token? An elder looked at Zhao Feng with surprise. Only the upper echelon of the family could give a Purple Star token. You can go in now. The two walked into the Purple Star Tower together. Different from Zhao Feng, Ji Lan was using contribution points from the family. After entering the Purple Star Tower, their vision became blurry. There was only a thick purple mist in front of them. On the ground of the first floor, there was a futon with a disciple sitting on it. The futons on the first floor of the Purple Star Tower were filled with Ji family disciples, and most of them were at the true spirit realm. Chapter 1002. Near where Zhao Feng was staying, Ji Lian, that brat, went to the Purple Star Tower. One of Ji Lian's lackeys jogged to Ji Lian. Ji Qingming, Zhao Feng went to the Purple Star Tower. Ji Lian's eyebrows furrowed. Sacred Lord Star Demon had high hopes for Zhao Feng and gave Zhao Feng the right to enter the Purple Star Tower. Then we'll wait for him outside the Purple Star Tower. The eyes of a middle-aged male in black next to Ji Lian twinkled. In addition, Ji Lan seems to have gone with Zhao Feng. The lackey said in a small voice. Ji Lian's eyebrows instantly furrowed as flames of anger burned in his heart. Let's go. Ji Lian waved his sleeve and roared in a low tone. He had never been humiliated in the Ji family before, so he obviously wouldn't let Zhao Feng go so easily. Ji Lian's great-grandfather wouldn't attack Zhao Feng just for Ji Lian. Furthermore, no matter what, Zhao Feng was a guest that Sacred Lord Star Demon brought back. However, Ji Lian's great-grandfather told his second disciple, Ji Qingming, to follow Ji Lian. Ji Qingming was a quasi-sacred lord expert just below Ji Dengtian. Ji Lian didn't believe that he wouldn't be able to teach Zhao Feng a lesson this time. Ji Qingming, don't be too heavy-handed when the time comes. Ji Lian revealed a deadly smile. Back then, Zhao Feng had made him lose all face in front of Ji Lan. This time, he was going to make Zhao Feng look even worse in front of Ji Lan. Otherwise, how else could he make Ji Lan stay away from Zhao Feng? Within the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng and Ji Lan slowly walked forward. The first floor of the Purple Star Tower was filled with disciples at the true spirit realm. Zhao Feng inspected with his left eye and found that there was a profound array around each cushion. Every corner of the Purple Star Tower has a spatial array that separates it from the outside world. Lan explained to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng nodded his head. Without these spatial arrays, he wouldn't be able to cultivate here. On the second floor of the Purple Star Tower, it was still packed with small Origin Core Realm disciples of the Ji family. Zhao Feng and Lan went all the way up to the 7th floor. The purple fog in front of him was as thick as water, and it filled the entire space. There were a total of 10 prayer mats on the 7th level, but only 6 of them were occupied. One of them was very familiar to Zhao Feng. It was Ji Dengtian. The 7th floor of the Purple Star Tower is suitable for emperors to cultivate. After saying that, Lan came to a praying mat. Although Lan's strength had far surpassed ordinary great emperors, she was still a great emperor. However, the 8th floor was a place where mystic light realms cultivated. Unless Lan's soul had reached the level of a sacred lord, she wouldn't even be able to last a breath on the 8th floor. Everyone who entered the Purple Star Tower understood this. The dense purple mist in the air had a hypnotizing effect, and the effect would increase with each layer. As for the 8th level, it was a purple mist that could confuse even Holy Lord powerhouses. Mere emperors naturally wouldn't dare to go up there. Zhao Feng didn't say anything. He found a prayer mat and tried to test its effect. The moment Zhao Feng sat down on the cushion, the scenery around him completely changed. All he could see was endless violet mist, twisting and turning, and he couldn't see anyone. This purple mist seems to be the manifestation of my soul power, and it's controlled by my soul intent. Zhao Feng instantly felt what was unique about the Purple Star Tower. Zhao Feng's soul intent quickly controlled the mist nearby. In a while, Zhao Feng's surroundings turned into a heavy purple maze, and wind and lightning boomed above him. This is the perfect place for experts of the Tao of Illusions to create domains and little worlds. Zhao Feng praised. This place could materialize one's soul power, and it was extremely useful for creating domains and finding flaws in them. At the same time, he could feel that the mist within the prayer mat had an even stronger effect on the soul. This mist would only create illusions and increase mental energy pressure, but it did have the effect of refining the soul. Zhao Feng first perfected his illusion maze domain here. This was because, if it was possible in the future, Zhao Feng planned to create another little world with the illusion maze domain. Zhao Feng also cultivated the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique and the Soul Recovery Divine technique at the same time. The 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique was about to reach perfection, and the Soul Recovery Divine technique was extremely fast. Zhao Feng would be able to try the soul-splitting technique soon. Why did Zhao Feng want to try this extremely dangerous soul technique that only had the first level of the technique? There were 3 reasons. Firstly, the automatons of the Heaven's Legacy race had a very high evaluation of the soul-splitting technique. Furthermore, Zhao Feng had the God's spiritual eye, so he was extremely good at analyzing techniques. Secondly, the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique was about to reach perfection, and the benefits it brought to Zhao Feng were undeniable. Then, how strong would the soul-splitting technique, which was based on the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique and the Soul Recovery Divine technique, be? Thirdly, the soul-splitting technique was extremely attractive to Zhao Feng. Once Zhao Feng succeeded, then the problem of Zhao Feng's God Eye rejecting the Eye of Death would be solved. This meant that once Zhao Feng cultivated the soul-splitting technique and successfully split his soul, he would be able to merge the Eye of Death into his split soul. Zhao Feng didn't believe that his split soul would also have the God's spiritual eye. He believed that his God's spiritual eye was the same as the 8 great God eyes. It was unique. Time slowly passed, and it was noon. Lan left the prayer mat and saw that Zhao Feng was still cultivating. Zhao Feng's soul intent has most likely reached the level of a sacred lord. It won't be a problem for him to cultivate here for a few days. Lan sighed. She took out some soul-cleansing resources and ate them before returning to the prayer mat. Even Lan didn't realize that Zhao Feng's cultivation speed was much faster than before. The next day, Lan returned to the 6th floor and rested for a while before returning to the 7th floor. At this moment, Zhao Feng was still as motionless as before. The illusion maze domain is almost perfect. Zhao Feng was very satisfied. The more stable a domain was, the more convenient and powerful the little world would be. At the same time, after cultivating here for 2 days, Zhao Feng's soul intent, which had reached the level of a sacred lord, had become even purer. Furthermore, the illusion technique in Zhao Feng's mind had also formed. He combined the Eye of Illusion with the Purple Star Days and named it the Forbidden Illusion Lost World. The Forbidden Illusion Lost World would pull the enemy into an illusion created by Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye. It would then separate the enemy's soul intent from their body and confuse their senses, making them think that everything around them was real. If he used the Forbidden Illusion Lost World on Ji Lian right now, just one glance would be enough to make Ji Lian fall into the illusion for dozens of years. On the 3rd day, Ji Lian finally couldn't take it anymore. If she continued to stay in the Purple Star Tower, it would cause irrecoverable damage to her soul. Zhao Feng suddenly opened his eyes and left the prayer mat. "How is it? It's time to leave." Ji Lian smiled and said. She believed that Zhao Feng had definitely experienced how extraordinary the Purple Star Tower was. He might not be used to it since it was his first time in the Purple Star Tower, so he wouldn't be able to stay for long. "You can leave first," Zhao Feng said as he walked forward. "What are you doing?" "That's the entrance to the 8th floor." Ji Lian was stunned. Zhao Feng wanted to go to the 8th floor after staying on the 7th floor for 3 days? One had to know that the disciples of the Ji family would enter the higher floors in their best state. Only then would they be able to stay for longer. Zhao Feng probably wants to see the 8th floor, right? Ji Lian smiled. After all, after Zhao Feng left, he wouldn't have the chance to enter the Purple Star Tower anymore. There were many arrays on the path from the 7th floor to the 8th floor. However, these arrays weren't there to stop disciples from entering, but to isolate the purple mist between the floors. Zhao Feng passed through the arrays and arrived on the 8th floor. If he was on the 7th floor, Zhao Feng's field of vision would still be 5 feet. However, on the 8th floor, Zhao Feng's field of vision would only be 1 foot. Even if he circulated the see-through ability of his left eye, he wouldn't be able to see the entire floor. Soon, the scene in front of Zhao Feng became chaotic, as if there were many ferocious beasts hidden in the mist. As expected, it's not simple. Zhao Feng was extremely excited as he circulated the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique and Sacred Lord Soul intent. Everything in front of him instantly returned to normal, and it became an ocean of purple mist. The reason why Zhao Feng took the risk to enter the 8th floor was because he realized that cultivating the Soul Recovery Divine technique in the Purple Star Tower was extremely effective. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's soul intent had reached the level of a sacred lord a long time ago. Cultivating on the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower was even more effective. Zhao Feng then found a futon and sat down. At this moment, Ji Lian and Ji Dengtian were getting impatient outside the Purple Star Tower. The other disciples of the Ji family that were waiting to watch a good show also started to leave. Suddenly, a purple light flashed on the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower, and it lit up. The hearts of the nearby disciples shook, and they stopped moving. The Purple Star Tower had a total of 9 floors, and only when a disciple was cultivating on that floor would it light up. The fact that the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower was flashing with a faint light meant that someone was cultivating on the 8th floor. However, the 8th floor was a place for sacred lords to cultivate. The 8th floor lit up? Could it be that a genius from the Ji family has reached the level of a sacred lord? I remember that Ji Dengtian was in there. Could it be him? The disciples of the Ji family gathered nearby were all talking at once, discussing spiritedly. This was because no sacred lord-level experts had entered the Purple Star Tower recently. This was why they guessed that an expert from the Ji family cultivating on the 7th floor had broken through and entered the 8th floor. Ji Dengtian was the strongest quasi-sacred lord of the Ji family, so this possibility was extremely high. What? Ji Dengtian? Ji Qingming's expression became grim. Ji Dengtian was indeed stronger than him, or else the spot for the Crown Prince trial would have been his. Now that Ji Dengtian had some fortune in the Crown Prince trial and had formed Sacred Lord intent after cultivating for a while, Ji Qingming was extremely angry. Luckily he wasn't sure yet. Maybe Ji Dengtian was just trying to force his way into the 8th floor. Maybe the 8th floor's light would dim after a while. Jilan? Ji Lian revealed a faint smile, and he was extremely excited. Where's Zhao Feng? Ji Lian felt that something was wrong. Zhao Feng didn't come out with Ji Lan. He's still inside. Ji Lan gave a simple reply and walked to the side. Ji Lan knew what Ji Lian and Ji Qingming wanted to do when she saw them. She wasn't worried about Zhao Feng. Instead, she was worried about these two. Damn it, this Zhao Feng! Anger burned in Ji Lian's eyes. He could tell with one glance that Ji Lan was planning to wait for Zhao Feng to come out. Chapter 1003. Ji Lan waited on the 7th floor of the Purple Star Tower for a long time before she realized that Zhao Feng wasn't just going to the 8th floor to take a look, he was actually cultivating there. She stayed here because she wanted to see how long Zhao Feng, who had lasted 3 days on the 7th floor, could last on the 8th floor. Under normal circumstances, it would already be very good if Zhao Feng could stay on the 8th floor for 6 hours. One had to know that even the elders of the family could only stay on the 8th floor for 16 hours at the most. On the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng was the only one left. The world that Zhao Feng was in was filled with thick purple mist, and it was as thick as mud. When Zhao Feng turned the mist around him into his illusion maze domain, Zhao Feng could almost see what the illusion maze domain would look like after it turned into a little world. With Zhao Feng's deduction abilities and the help of the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng was able to instantly understand how the illusion maze domain would look like after it turned into a little world. After all, Zhao Feng already had the experience of creating little worlds. I've also cultivated the Soul Recovery Divine Technique to the 5th level. Zhao Feng felt his cultivation speed. There were 10 levels to this technique, and the first 3 levels were the foundations. Therefore, Zhao Feng was able to complete them in just one night. With the help of the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng only needed 3 days to cultivate to the 5th level. Furthermore, the Soul Recovery Divine Technique would be even faster on the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower. Of course, the 10,000 Divine Thoughts Technique, which was about to reach completion, also helped. After all, the Soul Recovery Divine Technique was the follow-up to it. At the same time that he cultivated these two techniques, Zhao Feng split off a part of his consciousness to comprehend the contents of some of the books that Sacred Lord Star Demon had collected. The books on the right side of the bookshelf were extremely comprehensive, and there were many theories that even Zhao Feng had never heard of before. These books greatly expanded Zhao Feng's knowledge. In the future, Zhao Feng would be able to fuse and create his own techniques. 6 hours later, even as Zhao Feng circulated his incantations, his psychic awareness began to grow chaotic. Zhao Feng immediately used the Soul Recovery Divine Art that he had just cultivated. The effect of the Soul Recovery Divine Technique on the soul was equivalent to the effect of a body refining technique on the body. After circulating the Soul Recovery Divine Art, Zhao Feng's soul body became more active, and his soul energy increased greatly. Such an effect made even Zhao Feng jump in fright. Looks like I underestimated the usefulness of the Soul Recovery Divine Art. Zhao Feng murmured. The liveliness of his soul greatly increased, and the corrosion of the Purple Star Tower's 8th floor decreased once more. 8 hours. 10 hours. Outside the Purple Star Tower, a commotion broke out. He actually persisted for 10 hours. His soul intent has just reached the level of a sacred lord, yet he can last this long on the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower? Did Ji Dengtian obtain a soul-type treasure in the imperial tombs? The disciples of the Ji family kept guessing. Ji Dengtian. Ji Qingming had an ugly expression and was filled with anger. Although he had lost to Ji Dengtian in the fight for the spot to become crown prince, Ji Qingming had made up his mind to surpass Ji Dengtian. However, Ji Dengtian had stayed on the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower for 10 hours already. This made him lose confidence. Just as everyone was discussing, Ji Dengtian walked out from the entrance of the Purple Star Tower. What's going on? Why are there so many people? Ji Dengtian paused for a moment as he followed everyone's gaze. It wouldn't be strange even if there were people on the 8th floor, right? Ji Dengtian was speechless. However, All the disciples outside the Purple Star Tower had their mouths wide open when they saw Ji Dengtian walk out from the Purple Star Tower. Ji Dengtian, weren't you on the 8th floor? Why did you come out? The 8th floor is still lit up. Ji Lian said in shock. He was screaming in his heart about why the light on the 8th floor hadn't been extinguished yet. I didn't enter the 8th floor, but while I can enter the 8th floor, I probably won't even last the time it takes to make a cup of tea. Ji Dengtian shook his head. He needed to continue working hard. Hearing Ji Dengtian's reply, everyone became excited once more. If it's not Ji Dengtian, then who is on the 8th floor? This? I remember that no one else on the 7th floor should be able to do this. Ji Dengtian was also surprised when he heard everyone's words. No Sacred Lord experts had entered the Purple Star Tower over the past few days, but the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower had lit up for no reason. Who was on the 8th floor? Everyone was even more surprised. Ji Lan laughed in her heart behind the spectating disciples of the Purple Star Tower. There was no way she would tell these people that the person on the 8th floor was Zhao Feng. At this moment in time, within Sacred Lord Star Demon's Hall, 2 old purple-haired figures stood there. Star Demon, you said that the 8th prince chose to stand on the 9th prince's side? An elder wearing a purple crown was slightly surprised. He wasn't just surprised about this, he didn't expect the 9th prince to become the crown prince. Sacred Lord Star Demon had just told him about some of the major events of the crown prince trial. Do I need to lie to you? Sacred Lord Star Demon gave a faint smile. This Zhao Feng is indeed not simple. He's already entered the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower. The elder in purple said in a low tone. He was still slightly suspicious that the 9th prince had relied on an emperor to turn the tide and become the crown prince. It's already been 10 hours. Can he last 16 hours? The elder in purple was full of expectation. His sole intent isn't any weaker than normal Sacred Lords. Sacred Lord Star Demon laughed and said, he had interacted with Zhao Feng many times, so he had a certain understanding of Zhao Feng. You mean he can last more than 16 hours? The elder in purple was surprised once again. Let's make a bet. I bet that he can last more than 20 hours, and I'll bet the eye bloodline technique book you obtained last time. Sacred Lord Star Demon's eyes spun as he spoke with a cunning tone. Sure. If you lose, I want what you obtained from Zhao Feng. The elder in purple agreed after hesitating for a moment. Only those at the early stages of the Mystic Light Realm could stay on the 8th floor for 20 hours after entering the Purple Star Tower. According to what the elder in purple knew, Zhao Feng had already stayed on the 7th floor for 3 days. This was why he dared to make this bet. Furthermore, since Zhao Feng was able to enter the right bookshelf of Sacred Lord Star Demon, he must have given Sacred Lord Star Demon something that he wanted. What if he can stay longer or enter the 9th floor? Sacred Lord Star Demon suddenly thought of something and laughed. Haha, Star Demon, you're really getting old. If he can enter the 9th floor, you'll be in charge of the Ji family in the future. The elder in purple couldn't help but laugh. One had to know that the lowest requirement to enter the 9th floor was to be a sacred king. It had been almost 10,000 years since anyone from the Ji family had entered the 9th floor. Even the elder in purple didn't know what the 9th floor was like. Okay, you're the Grand Elder of the Ji family. You have to keep your word. Within the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng had already stayed on the 8th floor for 12 hours. His soul consciousness started to become chaotic once more. It was useless even if he circulated the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique and the Soul Recovery Divine technique. The Purple Star Tower isn't very helpful for cultivating the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique. Zhao Feng sighed faintly. At this moment, Zhao Feng was only one step away from reaching the peak of the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique. Although it was only one step, it was the most difficult step. If that's the case, then I'll have to use a special method. Zhao Feng made up his mind. He took out many rare herbs that could purify the soul from the misty spatial world and ate them. Zhao Feng's consciousness became clear and returned to normal. At the same time, Zhao Feng circulated the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique. One thought turned into 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. Zhao Feng split up his thoughts and started to act individually. At the same time, Zhao Feng cultivated the 5-elemental wind lightning technique, absorbed the power of God Tribulation lightning from the demigod head, refined his sacred lightning body, cultivated many battle techniques, and read thousands of books in his memory. Zhao Feng had never split his thoughts to the maximum and used them all. At this moment, Zhao Feng felt as if his head was about to split open. Luckily, the soul treasure he just ate kept on releasing surges of unique soul power that blocked the purple mist and nourished Zhao Feng's soul at the same time. At this rate, the energy of the soul treasure Zhao Feng just ate was absorbed to the maximum. 12 hours later, the energy of the soul treasure Zhao Feng ate was completely absorbed, and the scenery around Zhao Feng started to twist. However, at a certain moment, a calm undulation spread from Zhao Feng's soul consciousness, and all the discomfort in his soul disappeared. In that instant, the world around Zhao Feng returned to normal. The 10,000 divine thoughts technique has reached the peak stages, and my soul intent is close to the early stages of the mystic light realm. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. He didn't think that the 10,000 divine thoughts technique that he had obtained from Duan Muqing's master would be able to help Zhao Feng cultivate his soul intent to such a level. On the other hand, this proved the grade of the 10,000 divine thoughts technique. After reaching the peak stages of the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, Zhao Feng placed most of his thoughts on the soul recovery divine technique, and he felt that his cultivation speed had increased once more. On top of that, Zhao Feng's soul intent had become stronger, which made his resistance against the 8th floor even stronger. This meant that Zhao Feng could stay on the 8th floor for even longer. Chaos broke out outside the Purple Star Tower. It's been 16 hours, but the 8th floor is still lit up. Impossible. Could something have happened to the Purple Star Tower? That's possible. There's no one on the 8th floor. Something must have happened to the Purple Star Tower. The people outside weren't willing to believe that someone could stay on the 8th floor for so long after their soul intent had reached the level of a sacred lord. Ji Dengtan, do you know who it is? Ji Qingming asked in surprise. Ji Dengtian started to think back. He knew the people on the 8th floor, and they were the same people when he left. I'm not sure. The people on the 7th floor shouldn't be able to enter the 8th floor. Ji Dengtian had a grim expression. That's impossible. Even Ji Lan didn't believe it. Did something happen to Zhao Feng? How could a normal person stay on the 8th floor? The commotion around the Purple Star Tower obviously alerted the few sacred lords in the family, but they didn't go in to see what was going on. Instead, they chose to wait outside for the surprise. The sky started to brighten. 20 hours had passed, and the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower was still flashing with a purple light. Within the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng opened his eyes. Even if he cultivated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique to the maximum, he wouldn't be able to stay on the 8th floor for so long. Luckily, the power of God Tribulation lightning within his lightning soul body was able to get rid of the purple mist that had invaded Zhao Feng's soul. However, this wasn't a long-term solution because the power of God Tribulation lightning couldn't keep up with his recovery speed. Only 50% of the God Tribulation lightning symbols remained in Zhao Feng's soul. I can still last for a while. The Purple Star token could only be used once, and Zhao Feng didn't want to waste this chance. I wonder what the situation is like on the 9th floor. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be curious. If he used all his trump cards and the power of God Tribulation lightning, Zhao Feng might be able to enter the 9th floor. However, if he failed, Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to stay on the 8th floor. After hesitating for a while, Zhao Feng made up his mind. Let me see what the 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower is like. Chapter 1004. 20 hours have passed. Sacred Lord Star Demon had an excited expression. Originally, he only had a 50% chance of success. He didn't expect that Zhao Feng could really stay on the 8th level for such a long time. Therefore, he won the bet with the Elder in purple. Sacred Lord Star Demon won the bet. This kid's soul attainment is actually so high? The purple-crowned old man was shocked. It wasn't a big deal to give the Eye Bloodline Technique book to Sacred Lord Star Demon. Most importantly, they had discovered Zhao Feng's astonishing potential. Making friends with such a genius was definitely beneficial to the Ji family. Fortunately, He did not make a move against that junior because of Ji Lian. Instead, he ordered his second disciple, Ji Qingming, to follow Ji Lian. With that, there would not be any trouble. Don't forget what you said, Sacred Lord Star Demon reminded as he looked into the distance. Do you really expect him to enter the 9th floor? The purple-crowned elder couldn't help but smile. He refused to believe that Zhao Feng could enter the 9th floor even if he was beaten to death. He and Sacred Lord Star Demon were both grand elders of the Ji family, but the true power was in his hands. Outside the Purple Star Tower. It's been 20 hours. Even if someone's soul intent broke through to the Sacred Lord level, they wouldn't be able to stay in there for so long. I'll go take a look. Ji Dengtian could no longer suppress his curiosity. He didn't know when the Ji family had such a genius. After saying this, Ji Dengtian spent a lot of contribution points to enter the Purple Star Tower. We'll wait for Zhao Feng here, Ji Qingming said solemnly. When Ji Dengtian went to participate in the Crown Prince trial, he had used up all of his family's contribution points. He wanted to enter the Purple Star Tower, but he couldn't. All right, we can't let Zhao Feng escape. Ji Lian was very much in agreement. The other disciples outside the Purple Star Tower also chose to wait outside. After all, it was not worth it to waste so many precious clan contribution points just to go in and take a look at one person. Within the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng arrived at the staircase leading to the 9th floor and took a few steps. The 9th level is above our heads. Zhao Feng looked up. The purple mist was like mud, piling up in the air. A line of words was engraved on the side wall of the corridor. Your cultivation level is not high enough. Don't enter, or else you might lose consciousness and be unable to come down. It seemed that many people were as curious as Zhao Feng. Boom! Zhao Feng's soul suddenly surged out, pushing aside some of the purple mist around him. At the same time, Zhao Feng used the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique to control the power of his will more precisely to stop the purple mist from approaching. On the other hand, the Soul Recovery Divine Art could increase the defense of Zhao Feng's soul and give him a certain resistance against the purple mist. Bang! Zhao Feng directly entered the 9th floor. In an instant, the endless purple fog pressed down on Zhao Feng, as if it wanted to bury Zhao Feng completely. In less than half a breath's time, Zhao Feng's soul was squeezed and deformed. Praying mat. Zhao Feng took a step towards the cushion closest to him. Boom! As the soul was squeezed into Zhao Feng's soul, the purple mist instantly attacked Zhao Feng's soul. Boom! Boom! Zhao Feng immediately used the God Tribulation lightning symbols in his lightning soul body. The remaining 1,000 or so God Tribulation lightning symbols instantly flashed, and the power of the God Tribulation lightning spread. Boom! Boom! Sizzle! A lot of the purple mist that was squeezing onto Zhao Feng's soul was destroyed by the power of the God Tribulation lightning. The pressure on Zhao Feng lessened, and he took another step forward. A faint layer of stars appeared in Zhao Feng's left eye. With the light of penetration, Zhao Feng's vision was almost unaffected, and he could see through everything. Therefore, Zhao Feng's consciousness was still relatively clear. The distance between Zhao Feng and the cushion closest to him was getting closer and closer. I might be able to dissolve the purple mist. Zhao Feng suddenly had an idea. However, the amount of purple mist on the 9th floor exceeded Zhao Feng's imagination, and it seemed to have become solid as it flowed through the entire space. Furthermore, the structure of the purple mist particles was extremely complicated, and it wasn't practical to dissolve it. However, what if I change my method and use the decomposition technique? An idea popped into Zhao Feng's mind. Up until now, Zhao Feng's light of decomposition had always been fired in a straight line. However, the usage of the decomposition technique wasn't limited to this. Just like how many techniques were used, the key was whether the user could use them in a different way. Suddenly, a faint golden ripple shot out from Zhao Feng's left eye and spun in the air before wrapping around Zhao Feng, forming a faint golden protective barrier. The purple mist that kept on coming was partially dissolved when it passed through the faint golden protective barrier, greatly reducing the power of the purple mist. Bam bam! Zhao Feng suddenly took 2 steps forward and stood on the cushion. The 9th floor instantly flashed with a faint purple light. However, since Zhao Feng was standing on the cushion, it was equivalent to him cultivating on it. Therefore, the purple mist was even more powerful. Hold on. Zhao Feng's left eye flashed with a golden light, and layers of faint golden ripples surged out and wrapped around Zhao Feng. On Zhao Feng's soul, countless symbols of God Tribulation Lightning lit up and activated the power of the God Tribulation Lightning. At this moment, Zhao Feng used all his trump cards to the limit. Boom! The faint golden barrier around Zhao Feng's body disappeared, and the symbols of God Tribulation Lightning in his lightning soul body also started to dim. The 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique and the Soul Recovery Divine technique also started to lose their effect. He only stood on the cushion for 3 breaths of time. Leave. Zhao Feng's consciousness still maintained a certain level of clarity. Although he could last for 1 more breath, he would lose the ability to resist after that, and he might not be able to go down. Zhao Feng circulated his wind lightning true yuan and instantly entered the staircase, arriving on the 8th floor. Because Zhao Feng had reached his limit in every aspect, Zhao Feng didn't have the ability to resist the purple mist anymore. Therefore, Zhao Feng couldn't resist the purple mist on the 8th floor, and his consciousness started to become chaotic. Rumble! Zhao Feng quickly flew on the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower and charged down the staircase, arriving on the 7th floor of the Purple Star Tower. The 7th floor of the Purple Star Tower was a place suitable for emperors to cultivate. Zhao Feng finally let out a breath when he arrived here. As long as he still had a wisp of soul intent, he would be able to stay here safely. Zhao Feng. Ji Dengtian was stunned when he saw Zhao Feng charge out from the staircase leading to the 8th floor. It wasn't a disciple of the Ji family, but Zhao Feng cultivating on the 8th floor. Zhao Feng didn't bother with Ji Dengtian. He had only cultivated on the 8th floor for a day, and it shouldn't affect him much. He consumed some soul-nourishing resources and circulated the Soul Recovery Divine Technique to recover his soul injuries. The Soul Recovery Divine Technique has reached the peak of the 6th level. Zhao Feng couldn't help but reveal a trace of a smile. It seemed like taking the risk to enter the 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower was worth it. Zhao Feng, I didn't expect you to be able to stay on the 8th floor for so long. Ji Dengtian finally spoke. If it was Zhao Feng cultivating on the 8th floor, then everything made sense. After all, Ji Dengtian had witnessed Zhao Feng's strength, and he admitted defeat. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's performance in the Crown Prince trial was shocking. Therefore, Ji Dengtian wasn't that shocked about Zhao Feng anymore. The Ji family's Purple Star Tower has a well-deserved reputation. Zhao Feng praised. Unfortunately, the Purple Star token could only be used once. Brother Zhao, go back and rest. It's your first time entering the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower, and you've already surpassed normal sacred lords by being able to last this long. Ji Dengtian could see that Zhao Feng was weak. It would be abnormal if Zhao Feng came down from the 8th floor completely fine. Zhao Feng slowly absorbed the energy of the resources he just consumed while circulating the Soul Recovery Divine Technique to slowly leave the Purple Star Tower. Ji Dengtian remained on the 7th floor. After all, it was a waste to leave after spending so much contribution points. Outside the Purple Star Tower, did I see wrong? The 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower lit up just now. How is this possible? Someone from the Ji family can cultivate on the 9th floor? Could something really have happened to the Purple Star Tower? The spectators were dazed for a long time before they started to discuss. One had to know that the 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower was where sacred kings cultivated. It had been 10,000 years since the 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower had lit up. However, just now, the 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower lit up for an instant. Although it was just an instant, its influence surpassed the 20 hours on the 8th floor. Should I report this to great-grandfather? Ji Lian realized that this matter wasn't simple. At this moment, Zhao Feng appeared in front of the Purple Star Tower. Ji Qingming, he's Zhao Feng. Ji Lian immediately threw what just happened to the back of his mind. A mere emperor has become so weak after entering the Purple Star Tower for the first time. Ji Qingming couldn't help but snicker when he saw Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng, I can't believe you were able to hide in the Purple Star Tower for so long. Ji Lian immediately stepped out and revealed a fierce expression. With Ji Qingming's help, he didn't believe that he couldn't take care of Zhao Feng. Ji Lan saw Zhao Feng from afar and woke up from her daze. Although she didn't believe it, she knew that only Zhao Feng could enter the 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower. However, Zhao Feng looked extremely weak at this moment. It should be because he entered the 9th floor. In this case, would Zhao Feng be Ji Qingming's opponent? The other disciples of the Ji family also came over to watch. They had waited for a long time and still didn't know who was cultivating on the 8th floor. It wasn't a bad idea to have some fun now. Zhao Feng, if you can take 3 moves from me, I'll let you off today. Ji Qingming looked down from above and said in disdain. He didn't want to be known as someone who bullied the weak, which was why he said that. Although it was only 3 moves, if Ji Qingming went all out, he would definitely torture Zhao Feng until he wished he was dead. Scram, I'm busy now. Zhao Feng glanced at the two impatiently. Zhao Feng had gained a lot from his trip to the Purple Star Tower. He still had to rush back to recuperate and cultivate. How would he have the time to fool around here? Refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Ji Qingming's expression became fierce. He didn't expect this junior to be so arrogant and disrespectful to him. Ji Qingming's eyes suddenly flashed with a purple light. However, in the next instant, Zhao Feng's golden eyes scanned over the two of them, and a soul-shaking eye intent spread out before instantly retracting it. SII. The surroundings of the Purple Star Tower were dead silent. At that instant, the eye intent that Zhao Feng released caused their eye bloodlines to tremble, and they felt as if their souls were being suppressed by a mountain. On the other hand, Ji Lian and Ji Qingming were dazed. Their eyes dimmed as they fell into an illusion. Chapter 1005. Zhao Feng didn't just cultivate the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique and the Soul Recovery Divine technique in the Purple Star Tower, he also cultivated illusions and the Tao of Illusions. Although his soul was severely injured and his soul will had yet to recover, it was enough to take care of these two. Zhao Feng circulated some of the willpower he had just recovered and cast a simplified forbidden illusion Lost World, causing the two to fall into an illusory world. Zhao Feng. Ji Lan immediately stepped forward, her face full of surprise, not knowing what to say. Her mind was a bit blank. Everyone could feel how weak Zhao Feng was. In this kind of situation, he actually took care of Ji Qingming with a single gaze. She was the only one who knew that it was Zhao Feng who had ascended to the 9th level. I'm not going to see Senior Star Demon today, Zhao Feng said indifferently and then flew back to his residence. Ji Lan was stunned, then stomped her feet. She would only be able to borrow books if Zhao Feng went to Sacred Lord Star Demon's place. However, she didn't stay here because she wanted to go to Sacred Lord Star Demon's secret treasury with Zhao Feng. Ji Lian, Ji Qingming, what happened to you? After Zhao Feng left, many disciples gathered around, looking at the two people from the Ji clan who provoked Zhao Feng. I've been hit by a soul path illusion technique, but ordinary illusion techniques are useless. A Ji clan great emperor tried many methods but they were all useless. Not long after, Ji Qingming looked like he was struggling, but he quickly came to his senses. Ji Lian, on the other hand, was still standing there like a fool. Ji Lian. Ji Qingming immediately sent his soul consciousness into Ji Lian's soul and awakened him. This Zhao Feng. After Ji Lian woke up, his whole body trembled. Although this was Ji Lian's second time facing Zhao Feng's illusion, the eye intent that Zhao Feng released this time was too strong and completely stunned him. On the other hand, Ji Qingming was terrified. Zhao Feng could easily take care of them in such a weak state. It was hard to imagine how strong Zhao Feng would be in his complete state. The 6th level of the Soul Recovery Divine Technique has reached perfection. The effects are not bad. On his way to his residence, Zhao Feng noticed that the damage to his soul had recovered by about 20%. However, Bai Qingyue, Old Monster Su, and the others suddenly left. Did something happen? Zhao Feng muttered to himself. While they were cultivating in the Purple Star Tower, Bai Qingyue told them through the Dark Heart Seal that they were going back. Perhaps Bai Qingyue didn't want Zhao Feng to be distracted by his cultivation, so she didn't tell him the details. At the time, Zhao Feng was at a crucial point in his cultivation, so she didn't ask. At this moment, Bai Qingyue and company had already left the range of the Dark Heart Seal. After returning to his residence, Zhao Feng went into seclusion alone. Within the misty spatial world, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly flapped its transparent wings and arrived next to Zhao Feng. It's ready to break through to the mystic light realm? Zhao Feng's heart moved. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had been severely injured during the battle, but it had recovered to its peak state with Zhao Feng's healing. Adding on the large amount of resources that Zhao Feng had given it, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's strength had reached a peak. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had a certain level of confidence that it could break through to the mystic light realm, but it wasn't very likely. Meow meow. The little thieving cat arrived next to Zhao Feng. 1 portion of 100 origins sacred honey. I'll leave the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly to you. Zhao Feng gave this matter to the little thieving cat. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had helped Zhao Feng a lot. If it broke through to the mystic light realm, its value would increase even more. Meow meow. The little thieving cat waved its paws in front of Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng nodded his head. The little thieving cat was saying that it had taken good care of Zhao Feng's beast hoard and precious herbs, so it wanted Zhao Feng to reward it. Zhao Feng then walked around the misty spatial world with the little thieving cat. The little thieving cat was indeed very good at managing the beasts. It could communicate with the beasts and understand the situation of each beast. It could use the smallest amount of resources to maximize its effect. The strength of each beast horde had increased by a lot. Therefore, Zhao Feng agreed to some of the resource requests that the little thieving cat made. After taking care of the little thieving cat, Zhao Feng focused on healing the injuries to his soul. 2 days later, Zhao Feng's injuries had completely healed, and his soul had become purer and more condensed. The power of his soul had increased, and the soul recovery divine technique had also successfully broken through to the 7th level. I can try the soul splitting technique after I cultivate the soul recovery divine technique to the 8th level. Zhao Feng couldn't suppress the excitement in his heart. According to the description of the soul splitting technique, this was equivalent to a cloning technique. The clone technique was a technique that Sacred Lord specialized in, and it used the sacred body to create a clone. The soul splitting technique split the soul, and the split soul was the same as a clone. Furthermore, the soul splitting technique had the effect of cultivating the soul. Therefore, Zhao Feng became more and more interested in the soul splitting technique, and he wanted to perfect it. This meant that Zhao Feng needed to read a large amount of knowledge about the soul in order to expand his knowledge. On this day, Zhao Feng left his residence and headed towards Sacred Lord Star Demon's private library. Zhao Feng hadn't finished reading the books on the left bookshelf, and he still had 2 more days to borrow the books on the right bookshelf. Little friend Zhao, you're finally here? Sacred Lord Star Demon's voice sounded from several dozen yards away from Sacred Lord Star Demon's hall. Thank you, Senior, for your purple star token. This junior has learned a lot. Zhao Feng clasped his hands to express his gratitude. After cultivating for 4 days in the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng had learned a lot. Zhao Feng also knew that Sacred Lord Star Demon could sense everything that happened in the Purple Star Tower, but that didn't matter. It didn't matter. The stronger he was, the more benefits he would receive from Sacred Lord Star Demon. Haha, if that's the case, then little friend Zhao can go to the Purple Star Tower directly in the future. Sacred Lord Star Demon laughed. Zhao Feng paused for a moment. Even if he displayed some strength, Sacred Lord Star Demon shouldn't be so nice to him. Entering the Purple Star Tower as he pleased was very unfair to the disciples of the Ji family who needed contribution points to enter, and it might have a bad influence on them. However, seeing how happy Sacred Lord Star Demon was, Zhao Feng didn't reject him. Perhaps he had encountered something good. Also, if little friend Zhao wants to cultivate the soul-splitting technique, I've studied it for a while and have written down many notes. Are you interested? Sacred Lord Star Demon continued. Zhao Feng paused once again. He felt that Sacred Lord Star Demon was very different today. Wasn't he being too nice to Zhao Feng? Was there a trap? Zhao Feng obviously didn't know that the power of the Ji family had changed just because he stayed on the 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower for 3 breaths. It's this junior's honor to be able to borrow senior's notes. Zhao Feng couldn't reject Sacred Lord Star Demon's temptation, but he also expressed that he didn't have anything else to trade with. I also want to see the complete soul-splitting technique. If little friend Zhao perfects it in the future, you must let me see it. Sacred Lord Star Demon said in a playful tone. Sacred Lord Star Demon took out a book and gave it to Zhao Feng after arriving at Sacred Lord Star Demon's private stash. Zhao Feng then went to the bookshelf on the right and sank his consciousness into the ocean of books. Sacred Lord Star Demon was indeed worthy of being the living textbook of the Ji family's I bloodline. He had a lot of knowledge and experience, and he had even written down part of his opinion on the soul-splitting technique. According to Sacred Lord Star Demon's understanding, the success rate of cultivating the soul-splitting technique was very high, but the prerequisite was that one had to cultivate the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique and the Soul Recovery Divine technique. To a certain extent, this notebook also gave Zhao Feng a rough idea of how to cultivate the soul-splitting technique. After reading this notebook, Zhao Feng's confidence in cultivating the soul-splitting technique increased. Zhao Feng then started to borrow other books. Zhao Feng believed that one day his knowledge and experience would surpass Sacred Lord Star Demon's. Time passed by in the blink of an eye, and Zhao Feng's time on the bookshelf on the right came to an end. Zhao Feng had a regretful expression, but in reality, he had already memorized 70% of the books on the right bookshelf that he was interested in. Zhao Feng then set his sights on the bookshelf on the left, where there were more books. Grand Elder, Ji Lan requests to see you. Ji Lan's voice sounded for the first time in the last couple of days. Speak. Pavilion Master Bai wants me to bring a letter to Zhao Feng and ask Zhao Feng to come back as soon as possible. Ji Lan reported. Bai Qingyue and Ji Lan met quite a bit in the Ji family, so she would obviously bring a letter to Ji Lan to avoid any delays. Within the hall, Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. He knew that there was a reason why Bai Qingyue and company wanted to go back as soon as possible. Senior Star Demon, this junior will be leaving first. Zhao Feng immediately said his goodbyes. From Ji Lan's words, Zhao Feng could tell that the situation was quite urgent. Ji Lan, take some inner disciples of the Ji family and follow Zhao Feng. Sacred Lord Star Demon's voice sounded. Sir. Ji Lan replied. Zhao Feng then led the disciples of the Ji family back to the Misty Moon Island zone. Before leaving, Zhao Feng used the Misty Spatial World to leave behind a mark in the Ji family. There were 15 disciples of the Ji family that came with Ji Lan, and almost all of them were emperors. They were all extremely excited. The family had given them a lot of rewards for this mission. In front of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion in the Misty Moon Island zone, Old Monster Su, Supreme Emperor Dark Knight, and several other members of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion were trapped within a sacred power array. Old Monster Su and Supreme Emperor Dark Knight were covered in purple spots, and they were heavily injured. The other members were taking care of them. Everything will be taken care of when the Grand Elder returns. Zhang Jie's decisive voice sounded. Don't worry, Zhao Feng will come. Old Monster Su's weak voice sounded. Old Monster Su had already contacted Zhao Feng through the Dark Heart Seal, and Zhao Feng was on his way. The interior of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion had completely changed. In a gloomy hall, two tall figures stood. One of them was wearing golden armor that had silver engravings on it, and the other was wearing a black and red robe that radiated a fierce aura of the demonic Tao. We purposely let that bitch go. She won't leave you alone, right? Ha! The black and red-robed figure gave a mocking laugh. They purposely let Bai Qingyue go because they were waiting for her to send a message for Zhao Feng to come back as soon as possible. If Zhao Feng doesn't come back in 5 days, then go report to hell. The golden-armored male roared. I'm coming. Go report to hell. A cold voice resounded across the Misty Moon Island zone. Chapter 1006. The red and black-robed elder and the golden-armored male immediately charged out from the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. At the same time, dozens of figures flew out from the other areas of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Zhao Feng. Old Monster Su's body shook slightly, and he immediately got up. Grand Elder. Zhang Jie's eyes were filled with respect. The members of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion also looked at the sky excitedly. It was as if this nightmare would end as long as Grand Elder Zhao Feng returned. Master, save old Monster Su, Supreme Emperor Dark Knight, and company first. Bai Qingyue communicated with Zhao Feng through the Dark Heart Seal. The two of them were poisoned and needed to be saved as soon as possible. Zhao Feng looked at the members of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion and the members of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion trapped in the array, and his expression became grim. He understood the situation here a little through Bai Qingyue. The two 3-star forces that had taken over the Ocean Smoke Pavilion were the 8-star Tower and the Ghost Fire Clan. These two forces had taken over the Ocean Smoke Pavilion while Zhao Feng and the upper echelon of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion were gone. At the same time, they set up an ambush and caught Old Monster Su, Bai Qingyue, and company off guard. However, it was obvious that these two forces wanted to take over Zhao Feng's force, so they didn't start a massacre. "You're Zhao Feng?" the golden-armored male exclaimed in a low tone, and heaven and earth started to tremble. "You talk too much nonsense. Why don't you just kill him?" the red and black-robed elder said in an impatient and dark voice. The target of their sex was only Zhao Feng. As long as they killed Zhao Feng, the Ocean Smoke Pavilion, the 10,000 Sacred Clan, and an assassination force, as well as Zhao Feng's treasures, would all be theirs. "Don't you see the disciples of the Ji family next to Zhao Feng?" the golden-armored male messaged. According to their intelligence, Zhao Feng should only have some contact with the Duanmu clan. However, the Duanmu clan was ranked last among the 8 great clans and was extremely far away from the sea. Even if they annexed Zhao Feng's forces, they believed that the Duanmu clan would not do anything to them. However, the Ji clan was different. The Ji clan was not too far from the sea. The Ji clan's strength was in the upper middle of the 8 great clans. Really stubborn. "Don't worry about Ji family, just kill Zhao Feng directly," the black-red-robed elder said in disdain. If Zhao Feng had come alone, it might have been a problem. However, if Zhao Feng thought that he could scare them away by bringing the Ji clan's people with him, he was gravely mistaken. "Speak. Who is the mastermind? Seeing that you didn't harm the members of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion, I'll leave your corpses intact," Zhao Feng suddenly asked. The 8-star Tower and the Ghost Fire sect were 3-star forces close to the mainland. These two forces had no enmity with the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Even if Zhao Feng had stolen resources from the 8-star Tower's forces in the Divine Illusion dimension, there was no way that the 8-star Tower would target the Ocean Smoke Pavilion because of that. There was definitely something going on behind the scenes for these two forces, one evil and one righteous, to team up and attack his forces for no reason at all. "Haha, you're still spouting nonsense even when you're about to die," the black-red-robed elder said in disdain. A great emperor actually dared to say such words to two sacred lords? Although they were only at the early stages of the mystic light realm, they were much stronger than old Monster Su, who had just become a mystic light realm sacred lord. On top of that, they had also brought 2 quasi-sacred lords from their respective forces. Who, the black-red-robed figure and the golden-armored male instantly charged out. The emperors and quasi-sacred lords followed behind them. "Don't harm anyone from the Ji family. Just kill Zhao Feng." The black-red-robed elder's voice sounded in everyone's souls. Those from the Ji family instantly started to panic. If it wasn't for the fact that Sacred Lord Star Demon had personally given them this mission, they would have run already. Furthermore, the news of Zhao Feng instantly killing Ji Qingming had spread outside the Purple Star Tower. Many disciples of the Ji family acknowledged Zhao Feng's strength. "Don't panic. Listen to Zhao Feng's orders. The 8-star Tower and the Ghost Fire clan won't dare to do anything to the Ji family." Ji Lan's voice sounded in the hearts of the disciples of the Ji family. Ji Lan believed that with Zhao Feng's strength and the help of the members of the Ji family, he would be able to deal with the current situation. Zhao Feng's expression didn't change as he looked at the two forces charging over. A powerful surge of eye intent appeared from his left eye. Forbidden illusion lost world. Limitless soul power from his lightning soul body flowed into his left eye. Zhao Feng's left eye turned into a limitless purple and gold maze world that radiated a fatal attraction. All the experts in front of Zhao Feng couldn't help but look at Zhao Feng's eyes. They instantly felt as if their consciousness was going out of control, and they started to struggle. However, it was useless. The light in their eyes soon disappeared. The several dozen members that charged out with the golden-armored male and the red and black-robed elder all froze in the distance as if they had lost their souls. The golden-armored male and the red and black-robed elder had to circulate all of their soul intent to block the terrifying eye bloodline technique. What's going on? The red and black-robed elder felt that something was wrong, and his heart went cold. His body shook as he looked at the golden-eyed youth in front of him. How is this possible? What powerful soul intent! Cold sweat appeared on the golden-armored male's back. He never would have thought that the battle would end before it even started. With just one glance, Zhao Feng had instantly killed everyone apart from the two of them. How was this possible? Wasn't he just an emperor? How could the eye bloodline technique of an emperor be effective against a sacred lord? As for the Ji family disciples behind Zhao Feng, their hearts skipped a beat and they fell into a daze. They didn't even need to do anything. Ji Lan was speechless. Although she had expected that Zhao Feng's full strength would surprise her, it definitely wasn't like this. The several dozen emperors and quasi-sacred lords couldn't fight back at all against Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique. Zhao Feng looked at the battlefield. The power of the eye bloodline technique is scattered, so it won't be able to threaten a sacred lord. Of course, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique was a trapping technique that could instantly destroy a portion of the enemy's battle power. It wasn't very offensive. Quick charge. This brat's soul is too strong. The golden-armored male's expression didn't change as he messaged the red and black-robed elder. The red and black-robed elder specialized in the soul, so he could block Zhao Feng's soul eye bloodline technique. This brat's soul is so strong. All you need to do is block his soul attack, and I'll deal him a fatal blow in the physical dimension. The golden-armored male continued to message. Okay. The red and black-robed elder gritted his teeth and turned into a streak of black-red ghostly fire that instantly shot toward Zhao Feng. If the two sacred lords were defeated by Zhao Feng, what face would their sex have left? At the same time, the red and black-robed elder's enraged voice sounded in the golden-armored male's soul. Is the sacred lord of shadows messing with us? The golden-armored male's expression became grim, but they had no way out now. You're courting death. Zhao Feng's expression was cold as he spat out two words. A surge of eye bloodline flames surged from his left eye, and a purple and gold light spun around it as dark golden god tribulation lightning symbols flashed. Boom! A ball of transparent purple and gold lightning fire with the aura of god tribulation lightning landed on the black-red ghostly fire. Arg! The red and black-robed elder screamed. Both his soul and body were being burned by the lightning fire. After the trip to the Purple Star Tower, Zhao Feng's soul intent had become stronger, and his mastery of eye bloodline techniques had reached another level. Zhao Feng's wind lightning eye flame could severely injure normal sacred lords if their strength wasn't suppressed. Zhao Feng suddenly flew out. Bam! Zhao Feng circulated the power of his sacred lightning body and punched the red and black-robed elder until he spat out a mouthful of blood. Normal quasi-sacred lords would die without a doubt when facing a punch like this from Zhao Feng. However, the sacred body of a sacred lord was different. It had a strong defense against attacks of a lower cultivation, and its recovery speed was extremely fast. Arg! Zhao Feng released another punch that contained a large amount of god tribulation lightning toward the sacred power whirlpool in the elder's dantian. When an emperor broke through to the sacred lord realm, the crystal core dimension within their body would turn into a sacred power whirlpool. Boom! The red and black-robed elder's figure disappeared from heaven and earth. His soul was completely shattered by Zhao Feng's soul intent. He only left behind an interspatial bracelet, which Zhao Feng put into the misty spatial world. The red and black-robed elder was also at the initial stages of the mystic light realm, but he was much weaker than Sacred Lord 100 Refined and company in the imperial tombs. This was because Zhao Feng had used his own strength to kill a sacred lord. The Grand Elder of the Ghost Fire clan had died just like that. The bodies of everyone from the Ji family, including Ji Lan, shook. A mystic light realm sacred lord that could shake the continent had died just like that. They felt that it wasn't real. Only now did the disciples of the Ji family understand that they had picked up a great deal. They only needed to make a trip and they would be able to receive a generous reward from the family. Grand Elder. The blood of the members of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion boiled. This was their Grand Elder. With such terrifying strength, he could completely crush the invaders. The golden-armored male's movements were slightly slower, so he instantly stopped and retreated several steps. His hairs stood on end as a coldness of death covered his body. How can he be so strong? How is this possible? How can an emperor kill a sacred lord so easily? The golden-armored male roared in his heart. Damn it, I was betrayed by Sacred Lord Dark Shadow. After hesitating for a moment, the golden-armored male gritted his teeth and said, Zhao Feng, let the 8-star tower go. We're willing to compensate the Ocean Smoke Pavilion for all their losses. I'll tell you who the mastermind is as well. He didn't dare to fight back against Zhao Feng's strength. There's no need, Zhao Feng said. The expression of a half-transparent black figure changed dramatically in a hidden area several thousand miles away from the Water Bay sacred land. These useless people. Not good, I've been discovered. Sacred Lord Dark Shadow's soul shook and turned into a streak of dark light that flashed by. I'll deal with the 8-star tower after I return. Zhao Feng snickered coldly as wind lightning True Yuan started to surge around him, and a pair of scarlet wings of lightning formed. Who? The wings on Zhao Feng's back released a scarlet golden light as they turned into a long arc of lightning and instantly disappeared. What speed? The golden-armored male was dazed, and fear lingered in his heart. He had wanted to run just now, but the elders and elites of the 8-star tower were all here. I actually believed 9 Darkness Palace's words and did something like this? The golden-armored male laughed self-mockingly. At this moment, some of the quasi-sacred lords that had been hit by Zhao Feng's illusion started to wake up. Chapter 1007. Damn it, how did things turn out like this? Sacred Lord Dark Shadow cursed as he flew. Before the Crown Prince trial started, he was sent by 9 Darkness Palace to instigate and threaten the surrounding forces to attack the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Their goal was to use the sacred lords of the other 3-star forces to force Zhao Feng to use his last god-slaying arrow. Once the god-slaying arrow was used, only death awaited Zhao Feng. However, 9 Darkness Palace quickly sent news to Sacred Lord Dark Shadow after the Crown Prince trial ended. The upper echelon of 9 Darkness Palace told Sacred Lord Dark Shadow that Zhao Feng already had the strength to kill initial stage Mystic Light Realm cultivators. Adding on the terrifying horde of beasts, he wouldn't even need to fear a group battle. One had to know that there were strong and weak Sacred Lords, but it was still hard for initial stage Mystic Light Realm cultivators to kill those of the same cultivation. Sacred Lord Dark Shadow had to believe the words of the upper echelon of 9 Darkness Palace, so he found an excuse to leave and hid in the shadows. He didn't expect to see such a terrifying scene. Even 3 initial stage Mystic Light Realm cultivators wouldn't be able to deal with Zhao Feng, the god-slaying arrow, the disciples of the Ji family, and the horde of beasts. Luckily, 9 Darkness Palace sent a message over early, or else he would have died here. What speed! The Holy Lord of Shadows felt the wind and lightning behind her, as well as the cold, killing intent. Sacred Lord Dark Shadow specialized in escaping, but he couldn't even shake off Zhao Feng right now. Dark Night Flowing Shadow. The Sacred Lord of Shadows turned into a dark streak of light and instantly shot into the air, traveling tens of thousands of miles. Lightning Wings Spatial Flash. Zhao Feng circulated the fire of wind lightning and used another spatial flash. Sacred Lord Dark Shadow was the fastest initial stage Mystic Light Realm cultivator Zhao Feng had ever met. Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to catch up to him in a short amount of time. Sky Locking Bow. A golden arrow of wind lightning condensed on the dark silver bow in Zhao Feng's hand, and it shot through a part of the limitless ocean with a whoosh. Boom. The next time the golden arrow of wind lightning appeared, it pierced through Sacred Lord Dark Shadow's chest. Damn it, this brat. The Holy Lord of Shadows paused for a moment. This arrow contained the violent power of wind and lightning, as well as the destructive power of tribulation lightning. It was extremely effective against a sacred leader's sacred body. After releasing that attack, Zhao Feng used the lightning wing's spatial flash again and closed the distance between them. An obscure psychic power flashed through the sea of mist. The mark of the God Eye had been successfully branded. When Zhao Feng imprinted the mark of the God's Eye, the Holy Lord of Shadows was still in pain from the wind lightning arrow. That weak feeling was instantly ignored. The Holy Lord of Shadows felt danger, so she ignored her injuries and turned into a streak of dark light that shot into the air. Let's see where you can run to. Zhao Feng floated in the air and closed his eyes. He sensed the location of the Holy Lord of Shadows and pulled the bowstring. Swoosh! A dark purple arrow infused with a soul attack pierced through the air. Zhao Feng could feel that his soul attack had hit the Holy Lord of Shadows. How could that be? I'm so far away, but the sky-locking bow didn't lock onto me. The Holy Lord of Shadows' heart jumped. He obviously knew about the sky-locking bow, but Zhao Feng wasn't chasing after him, and he didn't feel like he was locked onto by the sky-locking bow. It was weird that that arrow had hit him. Just as the Holy Lord of Shadows was thinking, another arrow of light flew over. The Holy Lord of Shadows immediately flew out in an arc, but he was still hit by the arrow. He didn't feel like he was locked onto, but the arrow still followed him. Damn, let's leave. The Holy Lord of Shadows didn't dare to stop and continued to run. However, one after another, the light arrows hit him, leaving him nowhere to hide. Damn it, this definitely isn't the sky-locking bow. Could it be an ancient divine bow? The Holy Lord of Shadows' body was scorched black, and he was in a sorry state. This definitely wasn't the sky-locking bow's specialty. He kept on running, but he was unable to escape from the arrows. In the end, the Holy Lord of Shadows arrived at a teleportation array in a city and teleported to another city. I'll take his life first. Zhao Feng put away the sky-locking bow. If the distance was too far, the power of the sky-locking bow would decrease, and the damage it could do to the Holy Lord of Shadows would increase. If he wasn't able to kill the Holy Lord of Shadows in the end, this weird phenomenon would make him suspicious, and the mark of the God's Eye might have been wiped away with the help of the upper echelon of 9 Darkness Palace. It was better to keep him alive since he might be of use in the future. As long as it wasn't a sacred king or a demigod, it would be very hard to detect Zhao Feng's mark of the God's Eye. The enmity between Zhao Feng and 9 Darkness Palace had reached a level where only one side would be able to stop. Right now, Zhao Feng was an important member of the Crown Prince's faction, and 9 Darkness Palace couldn't do anything to him in the open. Otherwise, it would seem that the 13th Prince wanted to take the position of Crown Prince and use the faction behind him to weaken the 9th Prince. Even if the Sacred Emperor and Empress liked the 13th Prince, he would have no chance of becoming the Crown Prince if he did something like that. At this moment, Zhao Feng and the 9th Prince were on the same boat. If something happened to the 9th Prince and he lost the position of Crown Prince, it would be time for 9 Darkness Palace to kill Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng waved the arm guard in his hand, and his figure started to fade as a layer of silver light appeared. Wang Shua. In the next instant, Zhao Feng appeared in the air above the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Sii. The Golden Armored Male, the forces of the Ghost Fire Clan, and the 8-Star Tower instantly felt a chill run down their spines. Many experts were trying to find a chance to escape, but they were scared by Zhao Feng's sudden appearance. At this moment, the members of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion had escaped, and Supreme Emperor Dark Knight, Old Monster Su, and company were being treated. Bai Qingyue relaxed when she saw Zhao Feng return. Everyone was busy outside the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Only the forces of the Ji family, the 8-Star Tower, and the Ghost Fire Clan were left in the sky. Zhao Feng, did you take care of the Sacred Lord of Shadows? The Golden Armored Male asked. The Sacred Lord of Shadows was famed for his ability to hide and escape. It was already very good that Zhao Feng was able to find the Sacred Lord of Shadows. Since Zhao Feng had returned so quickly, it was hard to say if he had taken care of the Sacred Lord of Shadows. Ji Lan and those from the Ji family were also surprised. The Ghost Fire Clan will become a subsidiary force of Supreme Emperor Dark Knight's assassination organization. Anyone who doesn't listen to orders will be killed. Now, let's talk about the compensation from the 8-star tower. Zhao Feng announced the fate of the Ghost Fire clan before looking at the golden armored male. Although the disciples and elders of the Ghost Fire clan were unwilling, there was nothing they could do. Once a sacred lord-level Grand Elder died, even if they didn't join Zhao Feng's forces, other forces would come to deal with them. "Thank you, Master." Supreme Emperor Dark Knight sent a message through the Dark Heart Seal. The Ghost Fire clan was a force that cultivated the Tao of Ghosts, and they had much more potential than the disciples of the 10,000 Sacred Clan. This way, his assassination organization would be able to truly develop. The golden armored male's heart shook. Zhao Feng completely ignored what he said and directly talked about compensation. Furthermore, Zhao Feng personally announced the fate of the Ghost Fire clan before talking about compensation. The golden armored male and the members of the 8-star tower felt bitter in their hearts. It would be fine if Zhao Feng offered some compensation. However, Zhao Feng didn't say anything, so they didn't know how much compensation they should give. If it was too little, Zhao Feng might be unhappy, but if it was too much, they would lose out. The 8-star tower will take responsibility for all the losses that the Ocean Smoke Pavilion caused this time. Furthermore, the 8-star tower will give the Ocean Smoke Pavilion a certain amount of resources every year, including manpower. The golden armored male was silent for a while before finally speaking. "Also, join the 9th Prince's force." Zhao Feng spoke after hearing this. His tone was firm and unquestionable. The expressions of the golden armored male and the elders of the 8-star tower became grim. If the 9th Prince had the same force and strength as the 4th Prince, the golden armored male would join without Zhao Feng even needing to say anything. However, the Crown Prince himself wasn't strong enough, and the 4th Prince, the 13th Prince, and the 7th Prince, who were extremely strong, wouldn't just sit there and wait for death. The 9th Prince's chances of becoming the Sacred Emperor were extremely low if he continued to be the Crown Prince. Fine. At this moment, only those from the 8-star tower were left. They couldn't run away or win, so what else could they do? The golden armored male and the elders of the 8-star tower felt extremely frustrated. "You can leave now," Zhao Feng straightforwardly said. Those from the Ji family took in a deep breath. Just like that, Zhao Feng took in a 3-star force and forced another 3-star force to join the 9th Prince. Zhao Feng brought the members of the Ji family into the Ocean Smoke Pavilion after dealing with this. Zhao Feng could tell what Sacred Lord Star Demon wanted, but he didn't know if this was what the 8th Prince wanted. However, it was already good enough that the Ji family could stand behind the 9th Prince. The Crown Prince's overall strength would finally increase. 3 days later, the Ocean Smoke Pavilion was reorganized and returned to normal. The 8-star tower also sent over the promised resources. Just what Zhao Feng had obtained from the Divine Illusion Dimension and the Imperial Tombs wasn't enough for him to develop such a large force. "I'll go visit Senior Star Demon in a few days." Zhao Feng said goodbye to Jilan. Zhao Feng hadn't finished looking through Sacred Lord Star Demon's private stash yet. The Purple Star Tower was a great place to cultivate, and he had the Eyes of Samsara to investigate as well. Zhao Feng would definitely need to go to the Ji family. However, before that, Zhao Feng needed to stay in his territory and prepare everything. Within the misty spatial world, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had used the 100 Origins sacred honey and was in a deep sleep. The sky-shaking golden ape also showed signs of breaking through under the little thieving cat's care. After the Crown Prince trial ended, Zhao Feng returned, and an invisible draconic providence surrounded the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Zhao Feng went around the Ocean Smoke Pavilion, the 10,000 Sacred Clan, and Supreme Emperor Dark Knight's assassination force before returning to the Ocean Smoke Pavilion and entering seclusion. The focus of his seclusion was obviously to cultivate the Soul Recovery Divine Technique and comprehend the Soul Splitting Technique. A month later, Zhao Feng's lightning soul body was completely purple and glowed with a faint light. It was as if it had a mind of its own and had left the boundaries of a soul body. There were many reasons for this. Firstly, when Zhao Feng's soul merged with the god's spiritual eye, an unknown change had happened. Secondly, when his god's eye evolved, the purple soul sea and god tribulation lightning symbols merged with his soul, forming his lightning soul body. Lastly, with the help of many treasures and the soul recovery divine technique, he had finally reached the 8th level. I can start cultivating the first level of the soul-splitting technique now. Zhao Feng's heart moved slightly. At this moment, his soul had reached the requirements that the person who wrote the soul-splitting technique had mentioned, and it even exceeded them. Although the soul recovery divine technique hadn't reached the peak yet, the activity of Zhao Feng's soul had already surpassed the description of the 8th level of the soul recovery divine technique. Once I successfully split my soul, I can place the Eye of Death on my soul. Chapter 1008. According to Zhao Feng's guesses, the split soul would be Zhao Feng's clone to a certain degree. The clone of a normal sacred lord would have at least 30% of the main body's strength, depending on the rank of the clone technique. Zhao Feng didn't know what kind of battle power his soul clone would have when it succeeded. Zhao Feng circulated the soul-splitting technique after making all the preparations and entered the world of his soul. This was a very dangerous soul technique, so Zhao Feng calmed himself down and started to cultivate step by step. 3 days later, Zhao Feng's soul felt a wave of pain. His lightning soul body started to swell, and the size of his soul exceeded Zhao Feng's body. Several bolts of lightning occasionally flowed around his body. A few more days passed, and Zhao Feng's soul continued to swell until it completely covered his body. A dark purple Zhao Feng appeared within the misty spatial world. It was extremely condensed, and there were countless symbols of God tribulation lightning within it. This was Zhao Feng's soul, and Zhao Feng's body was covered by the condensed soul. If others saw Zhao Feng's soul right now, they would jump up in fright. Zhao Feng's soul had turned into something even more condensed than the soul of a late-stage mystic light realm. It had the vitality of a living being, and there was also the power of lightning within it. Everyone knew that in order to completely kill an emperor, one had to destroy their soul. Even an early-stage mystic light realm wouldn't be able to destroy Zhao Feng's soul right now. At most, they would be able to imprison Zhao Feng's soul and slowly wear it down until it died. Time passed by slowly. Zhao Feng cultivated the first level of the soul-splitting technique very slowly. He was afraid that if he rushed it, the god's spiritual eye would change, and that would be bad. Zhao Feng's consciousness was completely focused on his soul, and he observed every single change in it. As long as there was a hint of danger that exceeded his expectations, Zhao Feng might stop the soul-splitting technique. At this time, Zhao Feng's soul body had already swelled and deformed. His original appearance could not be seen clearly, and he looked like an evil spirit. In his soul, the tribulation lightning imprints were moving about crazily. From this, it could be seen that Zhao Feng's soul energy was circulating rapidly. An intense soul-tearing pain constantly assaulted Zhao Feng's consciousness. The most crucial step. Zhao Feng's nerves were taut, and he did not dare to be negligent. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the center of Zhao Feng's dark purple soul body, there was a light purple area. The thunder and lightning marks that moved through this area were even fresher, as if they were real thunder and lightning creatures. A heart-wrenching pain appeared in Zhao Feng's soul consciousness. His soul body's face twisted, making him look like a ferocious ghost. At this moment, Zhao Feng's soul had already begun to split apart. The faint purple area was where it split apart. The soul was the foundation of everything, and one could imagine the pain of splitting it in half. Zhao Feng immediately circulated the soul recovery divine technique and the 10,000 divine thoughts technique to quickly heal himself and relieve the pain in his soul. This was something that Zhao Feng had just discovered. The healing effect of combining these two techniques was extremely shocking. Sizzle! The faint-colored area in the center of Zhao Feng's soul body split apart once again, and countless God tribulation lightning imprints almost shot out from it. Just like that, every once in a while, Zhao Feng would circulate the soul-splitting technique and pull his soul to the side. Then, he would circulate the soul recovery divine technique and the 10,000 divine thoughts technique to quickly heal himself. This cycle continued for a month. Zhao Feng was still in the process of splitting his soul. At this moment, he was already used to the pain of his soul splitting apart. His God spiritual eye was also very obedient and didn't show any changes. From within the misty spatial world, one could see Zhao Feng's soul had almost split into two. At the center of the two souls, there was a lot of soul matter that was connected to the God Tribulation lightning imprints. The dark purple soul slowly wriggled like a living being. This was Zhao Feng circulating the soul recovery divine technique to heal himself. The two souls each had half of Zhao Feng's face, and they looked exactly the same. The only difference was the eyes. The soul that split from the right didn't have the God's spiritual eye. The danger period is over. Zhao Feng finally let out a breath. The two souls that each had half of Zhao Feng's face had the same expression. When the soul had almost split in half, but both have still had Zhao Feng's consciousness, the first level of the soul-splitting technique was more than half complete. It seems like the split soul is also a lightning soul body. Zhao Feng was slightly excited. There was no doubt about the benefits of a lightning soul body. Not only could Zhao Feng use the soul recovery divine technique to heal his soul, he could also absorb the power of lightning to heal his soul. This wasn't something a normal soul could do. Now, I just need to completely separate the two souls. In order to be stable, Zhao Feng proceeded slowly. At the same time, he could observe the process and understand the nature of the soul, as well as the important aspects of splitting the soul. This was all for him to prepare for the second level of the soul-splitting technique. The second level of the soul-splitting technique was only half complete. Zhao Feng would have to rely on himself for the rest. 10 days later, the two halves of Zhao Feng's soul completely separated. The two souls each had half of Zhao Feng's face, half of his body, legs, and arms. Such a soul body was simply too unsightly. I should be able to slowly heal myself and return to my original appearance. Zhao Feng thought as he circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique and the soul recovery divine technique. Within the misty spatial world, the two halves of the soul floated in the air and faced each other. Gradually, the surface of the other half of the soul began to wriggle and slowly expand. First, it grew a body, then a head, then hands and feet, but it was only a rough shape. Another 10 days passed. The newly grown arms, legs, and body finally started to become more detailed. The two souls were no longer just halves, but a complete human form. Two dark purple soul bodies floated down. Their appearance was completely the same as Zhao Feng's original body. One of the souls, which had a faint golden left eye, returned to Zhao Feng's body. I'll use the spiritual flesh snow jade lotus root to create a temporary body for you. Zhao Feng murmured to himself. His current state was extremely unique. Although the two souls were separated, they both had Zhao Feng's consciousness. This gave Zhao Feng the feeling that he had two lives. Even if the soul with the left eye was destroyed, he wouldn't die. He would live on as the other soul. Of course, Zhao Feng still thought of the soul with the God's spiritual eye as his true body. A body created from the spiritual flesh snow jade lotus root soon appeared, and the split soul entered this temporary body. This clone seems to be much better than a Sacred Lord's clone's secret technique. Zhao Feng was slightly excited. Sacred Lords used the origin of their sacred body to create a clone and then imprinted their soul intent into it. Although the clone listened to the orders of the true body, the two had their own thoughts. If the clone was too strong and something happened to the true body, the clone might escape from the true body's control. Such a thing had happened in the Lord dynasty before. A clone of a sacred lord that escaped would return after 1,000 years, kill the true body, and replace it. However, Zhao Feng's current clone was his soul, and his consciousness was himself. He didn't know the exact details. Zhao Feng was only sure that the soul created by the soul-splitting technique would never betray him. From now on, you'll be called Zhao Wang. Zhao Feng named his clone because in the future, Zhao Feng would merge the Eye of Death into his body. Zhao Feng and Zhao Wang shared their vision. Everything that Zhao Wang saw, Zhao Feng would also see. Furthermore, Zhao Feng and Zhao Wang didn't even need to communicate with each other. Zhao Feng's thoughts were Zhao Wang's thoughts. Zhao Feng suddenly realized that the clones, created by the soul-splitting technique, had exceeded his expectations. However, there's one thing that can't compare to a Sacred Lord's clone's secret technique. Zhao Feng looked at everything logically. After splitting his soul, Zhao Feng's soul intent, which was about to break through to the early-stage Sacred Lord realm, was just a tiny bit away from falling to the quasi-Sacred Lord level. On the other hand, Zhao Wang's soul intent was only at the early stages of the Great Origin Core realm, and the body created from the spiritual flesh Snow Jade Lotus root was at the peak Small Origin Core realm. This meant that Zhao Feng's strength had decreased, and his clone, Zhao Wang, was too weak. He wouldn't be able to be used in the short term. After a Sacred Lord formed a clone, their sacred body would be affected, but their soul intent wouldn't drop, and the battle power that the clone had could be used immediately. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Zhao Feng wasn't disappointed at all. The growth of a Sacred Lord's clone was limited. Unless the clone left the main body's control or the main body died, the clone would never be able to surpass the main body. With Zhao Feng's experience from 2 lifetimes as well as many treasures and secret techniques, Zhao Feng's clone, Zhao Wang, could be made into a peerless expert whose battle power was comparable to the main body's, and it wouldn't betray Zhao Feng. Just like that, Zhao Feng stopped researching Zhao Wang's clone and entered a state of cultivation. Although the soul splitting was successful, the injuries of the 2 souls hadn't fully recovered yet. Injuries to the soul had to be treated carefully in order to avoid future problems. What's going on? Zhao Feng exclaimed as he opened his eyes. Could it be? Zhao Feng's heart jumped as he looked at Zhao Wang and finally understood. The 2 of them shared the same vision and consciousness. Zhao Wang's comprehension would also be passed into Zhao Feng's body. Of course, this was only the comprehension and experience. The power couldn't be shared. Otherwise, Zhao Feng could directly raise Zhao Wang's strength to the level of an emperor. This is similar to when I circulate the 10,000 divine thoughts technique. After circulating the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, Zhao Feng could multitask and do many things at the same time. At this moment, Zhao Feng could multitask, but he was doing the same thing at the same time, which was more efficient. I'll merge the Eye of Death into it after a while. Zhao Feng planned. The closer the cultivation of the Eye of Death was to the soul of the owner, the easier it would be to refine it. However, Zhao Feng and Zhao Wang's souls were completely the same, so there was no need to refine it. Therefore, even though the difference in cultivation was huge, they could merge it directly. After merging with the Eye of Death, Zhao Wang, who was only at the peak Small Origin Core realm, would almost never be in danger. Chapter 1009. 5 days later, the injuries to Zhao Feng and Zhao Wang's souls had mostly healed. Zhao Feng exited seclusion and left Zhao Wang in the misty spatial world. Right now, Zhao Wang needed to use every second he had to increase his strength. Firstly, Zhao Wang's soul was going to merge with the Eye of Death, so it was best for him to cultivate a technique that was related to the Eye of Death. The 5 elemental wind lightning technique obviously wasn't an option. Very quickly, Zhao Wang found the Yin Thunder Death method from his memories. This was a heaven-grade technique that Zhao Feng had memorized in the Ancient God Secret Palace's library. The Yin Lightning Death technique was a technique that focused on the power of Yin Lightning and the intent of death. It could unleash the characteristics of both the Lightning Soul Body and the Eye of Death. The value of this technique wasn't any lower than the peak techniques of the core disciples of the 8 big families. Zhao Wang then started to cultivate the Yin Lightning Death technique in the misty spatial world. Under Zhao Feng's guidance, he quickly grasped the basics. At the same time, Zhao Feng was able to obtain Zhao Wang's comprehension and experience. Zhao Feng didn't even need to do anything, and he was able to obtain the experience of cultivating this technique. It was as if Zhao Feng had cultivated it himself. Master, Duke Nanfeng has been waiting for you for a while. Bai Qingyue arrived outside Zhao Feng's hall. When Zhao Feng finished cultivating the soul-splitting technique, Bai Qingyue sent a message to Zhao Feng through the Dark Heart Seal. At the same time, Zhao Feng also learned a shocking piece of news from Bai Qingyue. Duke! Zhao Feng and Bai Qingyue walked into a spacious hall. Zhao Feng also guessed Duke Nanfeng's goal. Zhao Feng, the Great Gon Lord Dynasty and the Dark Moon Lord Dynasty have started a war. Duke Nanfeng said, "It should have started when the Crown Prince trial started, right?" Zhao Feng straightforwardly said, The non-humans would definitely attack when the Crown Prince trial started and the Draconic Providence was the weakest. That's right. Half a year ago, many powerhouses of the forces had already guessed something about the assassination that happened in the Great Qian Royal Palace. However, most people thought that this was just a huge conflict between the two dynasties and that the Great Qian dynasty would be fine. Who would have thought that it would be an all-out war this time? However, even if the Great Gan Lord dynasty and the Dark Moon Empire were to fight, Duke Nanfeng didn't need to come to Zhao Feng's place. He could just wait for Zhao Feng to come out of seclusion. Zhao Feng's eyebrows rose up. At the beginning of the war, the Great Qian dynasty was already at a disadvantage. Duke Nanfeng knew what Zhao Feng was confused about, so he explained. It seems like the outsiders have planned this and are well prepared. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly. As far as Zhao Feng knew, the ones guarding the northwest were the Tai family and the Yu family, two powerful families. At the start of the battle, Great Gan was already at a disadvantage. From this, one could see how strong the alien race dynasty was. Once the Great Qian dynasty fell into a disadvantageous position, it would definitely borrow the power of the sections. Therefore, the Great Qian dynasty issued a sect recruitment order. Duke Nanfeng said, "The sect recruitment order is the Great Gan Lord dynasty's policy. All the forces and clans within the territory of the Great Gan Lord dynasty must send a certain amount of battle power to the front lines." Bai Qingyue's voice sounded in Zhao Feng's mind. Many forces within the territory of the Great Gan Lord dynasty were protected by the providence of the Great Gan Lord dynasty. To a certain degree, the Great Gan Lord dynasty had control over them. Zhao Feng didn't say anything after hearing this. This matter wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. Now that the Crown Prince had been confirmed, all the forces stood behind different factions. This obviously included the front lines. For example, the Tai family was the 4th prince's force, and the Yu family was the 8th prince's force. The forces behind the 9th prince were already weak, so they would be alone on the battlefield and would definitely be targeted by the other forces. The war between lord dynasties was the worst for the 9th prince. How will the forces be distributed after they go to the battlefield? Zhao Feng asked. They are mostly managed by Sacred King Feather Spirit, who is the commander of the Lord dynasty, but he has given these small matters to his subordinates. I'm here for this as well. Duke Nanfeng was also the force behind the 9th prince, so he obviously wouldn't watch the other princes use this chance to attack the 9th prince. Duke Nanfeng was also an Imperials, so he had some connections within the Imperials. I have some connections over there. When the time comes, your forces will go with my guards. Duke Nanfeng said. Being the ruler of an island zone, Duke Nanfeng also needed to send his forces to the battlefield. Then I'll leave it to you, Duke. Zhao Feng smiled and said, with Duke Nanfeng's help, the forces from the Ocean Smoke Pavilion wouldn't be in trouble. I will also try to contact the forces behind the 9th prince and try to gather them together. Duke Nanfeng had a solemn expression. If the 9th prince successfully became the emperor, his authority as an imperial uncle would increase even more, and he wouldn't just be the ruler of the island zone anymore. Furthermore, this was the best way to help Zhao Feng resolve the danger. He knew the enmity between Zhao Feng and 9 Darkness Palace. That's for the best. Zhao Feng nodded his head. He couldn't let the forces behind the 9th prince be weakened too much. If the forces behind the 9th prince were all destroyed, would he be able to become the emperor by himself, even if he didn't do anything wrong? Right now, Zhao Feng and the 9th prince were on the same boat. If the 9th prince failed, Zhao Feng's forces wouldn't be enough to deal with 9 Darkness Palace. On the other hand, if the Ocean Smoke Pavilion, the Shi family, and the other forces were weakened, the chances of the 9th prince becoming the emperor would decrease. Bai Qingyue, quickly gather everyone. Zhao Feng ordered. The earlier they prepared, the better. Is there anything happening with the 9th prince right now? Zhao Feng asked. Don't worry, after what happened last time, the defenses of the Imperial Palace are so strong that not even a fly can fly in. Duke Nanfeng said with a smile. On the other hand, Zhao Feng, your forces are developing quite well. Duke Nanfeng sighed. He had also received news about the Ghost Fire Clan and the 8 Star Tower. Zhao Feng's forces had expanded once more, and he had also developed in many areas. His overall strength had already surpassed normal 3-star powers. All he lacked was peak experts and resources. It wasn't a good thing for the Ocean Smoke Pavilion, which was currently developing, to receive a clan conscription order. Furthermore, the mastermind behind the Ghost Fire clan and the 8-star tower was 9 Darkness Palace. Duke Nanfeng had found out that the Ghost Fire clan and 9 Darkness Palace had a very hidden connection. Duke Nanfeng was also very worried for Zhao Feng. If it wasn't for the Crown Prince trial, Zhao Feng would have been hunted down by 9 Darkness Palace long ago after offending such a strong demonic Dao force. He also admired Zhao Feng for being able to fight against 9 Darkness Palace until now and develop his forces to such a degree. I know that. A cold light flashed through Zhao Feng's eyes. One day later, a quasi-sacred lord of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion led a large group of members and left the Misty Moon Island zone with Duke Nanfeng. Zhao Feng went into seclusion once more. Within the misty spatial world, Zhao Feng and Zhao Wang sat opposite each other. Start to refine the Eye of Death. A golden light flashed through Zhao Feng's left eye, and the Eye of Death in its soul form appeared in the air. Because the Eye of Death's level was too high, Zhao Feng had to personally refine it. Zhao Feng's expression changed as his powerful soul intent covered the Eye of Death and merged it into Zhao Wang's right eye. The Eye of Death suddenly trembled. Zhao Feng's soul intent instantly attacked it. Last time, the God's spiritual eye had mutated and failed. This caused the Eye of Death to fear Zhao Feng's soul. However, under Zhao Feng's powerful intent, it finally yielded. Refine. A surge of powerful soul power surged out of Zhao Feng's soul and turned into a gray-purple flame according to the soul eye refining technique. A ball of gray-purple soul flame burned where Zhao Wang's right eye should be. Zhao Wang's soul let out a low roar. The refinement process was extremely smooth. The colors around the Eye of Death started to change as it started to merge with Zhao Wang's soul. Even the symbols of God Tribulation Lightning were able to move around the Eye of Death. When the colors around the Eye of Death started to merge with Zhao Wang's soul, Zhao Feng stopped helping. All Zhao Wang needed to do now was circulate the soul eye refining technique and guide his soul to merge with the Eye of Death. When the Eye of Death completely merged with Zhao Wang's soul, Zhao Wang now had the ability to use the Eye of Death. At this moment, Zhao Feng came out of the misty spatial world and left the Ocean Smoke Pavilion after giving some orders. Zhao Feng went straight to the Duke's palace using the coordinates left behind by the misty spatial world. Duke Nanfeng wasn't here, so Zhao Feng flew toward the Haili province, which was the closest. When Zhao Feng arrived at the Haili province, he used the misty spatial world to leave behind a spatial mark. On a certain day, at the edge of the Ji family's forest, Wang Shua, a layer of silver appeared in the air, and a golden-haired figure appeared with a disturbance in space. When Zhao Feng left the Ji family, he left behind a spatial mark here. Zhao Feng's eyes moved when he arrived at the Ji family. The Eye of Death has completely merged with it? Zhao Feng entered the misty spatial world and used his God's spiritual eye to inspect Zhao Wang. It has indeed completely merged with it. The speed at which the Eye of Death merged exceeded Zhao Feng's imagination. However, Zhao Wang couldn't use the Eye of Death. How could he use the Eye of Death with his great origin core realm soul intent? Any random eye bloodline technique would be able to squeeze out all of his soul. However, Zhao Wang's intent had only just formed in such a powerful lightning soul body. He would be able to reach the level of an emperor or quasi-sacred lord in just a few years and catch up to Zhao Feng. On top of that, Zhao Wang had also obtained some other effects from the Eye of Death. For example, vision, the aura of death, the laws of death, etc. It was just like when Zhao Feng merged with the God's spiritual eye, he gained super strong vision, half see-through ability, and reaction speed. These were all things that were reflected back to the physical dimension through the Eye of Death. With the Eye of Death, Zhao Wang's lack of resources and comprehension of the laws of death had been solved, and his speed of cultivating the Yin Lightning Death technique would become even faster. At the same time, Zhao Feng felt through Zhao Wang that there was indeed a dimension of death within the Eye of Death, but Zhao Wang wasn't able to open it right now. Zhao Feng still remembered how the Emperor of Death had summoned 3 Emperor-level vengeful spirits through the dimension of death back at the 18 Corners Pirate Sacred Land. That was one of the abilities of the dimension of death. Why don't you go to the continent and join a sect that cultivates the Tao of Ghosts? For example, one of the subordinate forces of 9 Darkness Palace. Zhao Feng's eyes spun as he suddenly smiled and said, Chapter 1010. Why don't you go to the continent and join a force that cultivates the Tao of Ghosts? For example, one of the subordinate forces of 9 Darkness Palace. Zhao Feng's eyes spun as he suddenly smiled. Firstly, Zhao Feng didn't specialize in the cultivation system that Zhao Wang cultivated, so he could only solve the problems that Zhao Wang had in the beginning. Secondly, Zhao Feng didn't have many resources related to enlightening and death, and Zhao Feng himself didn't have enough resources. A force that cultivated the Tao of Ghosts could solve both of these problems for Zhao Wang. Zhao Wang's cultivation speed was extremely fast, and he would be able to reach the upper echelon of the force soon. He might even be able to obtain some secret information from 9 Darkness Palace. This was the best way to infiltrate the enemy's inner circle, and it should be easy to get away with it since it was a time of war. Zhao Wang left after making his decision. Before he left, Zhao Feng gave Zhao Wang some resources, weapons, and life-saving trump cards. Zhao Feng entered the Ji family after Zhao Wang left. Those from the Ji family immediately went to greet him and brought Zhao Feng into the Ji family. It's Zhao Feng. Apparently, he was the one who entered the 9th floor of the Purple Star Tower that day. How is that possible? He's still an emperor. No one knows. Maybe he has some kind of soul-type secret treasure, but many disciples of the Ji family saw him defeat Ji Qingming with one glance. The gazes of the disciples of the Ji family were all attracted by Zhao Feng as they walked. This was especially so for the disciples of the Ji family that had followed Ji Lan to the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. They all had respectful expressions when they saw Zhao Feng. A voice sounded from Sacred Lord Star Demon's private hall before Zhao Feng even got close. Come, Zhao Feng. The disciple of the Ji family that brought Zhao Feng left. Little friend Zhao, how are you injured? Sacred Lord Star Demon felt that something was wrong when he looked at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's soul intent was much weaker than when he left. The disciples of the Ji family reported everything after they returned. It should have been extremely easy for Zhao Feng to deal with those 2 sacred lords. Why was he injured? I won't hide it from you, senior. When I returned, I had already started practicing the soul-splitting technique. Zhao Feng did not hide this point. After all, Sacred Lord Star Demon had already guessed that Zhao Feng would try to cultivate the soul-splitting technique. You succeeded? Sacred Lord Star Demon revealed a joyful expression. He had studied this spell deeply, but he still did not have the confidence to cultivate it. When a Sacred Lord formed an avatar, their body would be damaged. It was natural that Zhao Feng's soul intent would be damaged when he successfully split his soul. If Zhao Feng failed, he wouldn't just be injured like this, so Sacred Lord Star Demon was very sure that Zhao Feng would succeed. Zhao Feng nodded. He was also happy about the success of the first level of the soul-splitting technique. Sacred Lord Star Demon had an excited expression as he approached Zhao Feng. Let me see your clone. He didn't expect Zhao Feng to reach the requirements and successfully cultivate the soul-splitting technique in just a few months after obtaining the soul recovery divine technique. Was this because Zhao Feng's luck was heaven-defying, or was he extremely talented in this area? My clone is somewhere else right now. Zhao Feng revealed an apologetic smile. Coincidentally, Zhao Feng told Zhao Wang to go to the inner continent and find a clan that cultivated the Tao of Ghosts when he arrived at the Ji family. Sacred Lord Star Demon's expression paused for a moment before returning to normal. Normal Sacred Lords cultivated clones in order to multitask and do many things at once. It was very logical that Zhao Feng's clone wasn't by his side. Zhao Feng then told Sacred Lord Star Demon some things about the soul-splitting technique. After obtaining some information, Sacred Lord Star Demon might be able to help him create the second level. It has such a godly effect. Sacred Lord Star Demon was surprised. He had a certain understanding of the abilities of the soul-splitting technique through Zhao Feng's description. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't have much confidence, Sacred Lord Star Demon would have given it a try. However, he couldn't act rashly. Now that the battle had started, no one knew what would happen. As the Grand Elder of the Ji family, his life didn't belong to him alone. How's little friend Zhao's understanding of the second level of the soul-splitting technique? Sacred Lord Star Demon asked. This technique wasn't simple, and since he couldn't find anything similar to it, it was extremely difficult to create it. Not much progress. Zhao Feng had only cultivated the first level, and his soul intent had almost dropped to the quasi-sacred lord level. Even if he managed to create the second level, Zhao Feng wouldn't cultivate it right now. Therefore, Zhao Feng had been reading books to increase his knowledge and foundation in preparation for the second level in the future. Little friend, you can stay here. I'll discuss it with you. Also, I have something else to tell you. Sacred Lord Star Demon put the soul-splitting technique aside for now. The 8th prince has already sent me a message. He will stand on the 9th prince's side and help the 9th prince. Sacred Lord Star Demon said with a smile. This was what he hoped for as well. He didn't want the Ji family to leave the 8th prince and join the 9th prince's side. Although the Crown Prince trial had ended and it was normal for someone to choose a new faction, it would still affect the Ji family's reputation. The 8th prince. Zhao Feng paused for a moment. He didn't expect the 8th prince to make such a decision as soon as the Crown Prince trial ended. Zhao Feng could obviously feel that the 8th prince's decision had a lot to do with Zhao Feng. However, this was good. The 9th prince's forces were weak, and with the 8th prince's help, his overall strength was approaching the 13th prince's. Furthermore, the Yu family seemed to be the 8th prince's force as well, and they were the main battle power on the front lines. This way, the forces behind the 9th prince would have someone to rely on when they went to the front lines, and they wouldn't be targeted by the other forces. Has Senior Star Demon found anything regarding the inheritor of the Eyes of Samsara? Zhao Feng changed the topic and asked softly. This was one of his main reasons for coming here, the whereabouts of the inheritor of the Eyes of Samsara. More than 2 months had passed. If he could find him, he should have found him already. I still haven't found his whereabouts. Sacred Lord Star Demon sighed. Zhao Feng's expression was dim. He was already mentally prepared. As expected, it was very hard to find a Lone Ranger. Furthermore, the strength of the inheritor of the Eyes of Samsara was immeasurable. However, I found a place that I suspect to be the place where the inheritor of the Eyes of Samsara once lived. Sacred Lord Star Demon said. Please tell me, Senior. Zhao Feng's expression paused. I'll go with you. Sacred Lord Star Demon suddenly charged out of the hall and passed through the purple mist. Zhao Feng followed behind him. The two arrived at a green sea of bamboo in less than a day. There was no one here. There was only a simple bamboo room, a well, a zither, a chessboard, and bamboo chairs. The intent here is indeed extraordinary. Zhao Feng felt that something was different the instant he arrived. Even though there were only some extremely simple and ordinary items here, they emitted an indescribable aura of profundity that was obscure and profound. The person who lived here should have just left for a while. Sacred Lord Star Demon said. If he had come here earlier, he might have been able to find something. Zhao Feng descended and walked toward the bamboo room. The layout of the bamboo room was simple and clean. It was filled with furniture that mortals normally used. It's very clean. Sacred Lord Star Demon said. The inheritor of the Eyes of Samsara obviously wouldn't leave behind any clues if he wanted to hide his tracks. If it was Sacred Lord Star Demon, he would definitely destroy everything here. Zhao Feng didn't know why, but when he entered this bamboo room, he felt an inexplicable fragrance surround him, causing his mood to slightly change. Zhao Feng opened his god's spiritual eye and scanned the room, but he didn't find anything. From the looks of it, the inheritor of the Eyes of Samsara was a confident and cautious person. The inheritor of the Eyes of Samsara didn't leave any clues behind. Even Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye couldn't find anything. Zhao Feng entered through the front door and exited through the back door. Qin. Zhao Feng looked at the green 7-string qin. An elegant and tranquil woman who was like a celestial in a painting suddenly appeared in his mind. Her beautiful face was like a wild goose descending from the sky, and she had a quiet and resentful appearance. Meow meow. The little thieving cat jumped out of the misty spatial world, and it was holding a copper coin in its paws. This copper coin wasn't the one that the little thieving cat used for divination. It was the one that Lu Qinxin had left for Zhao Feng on the last floor of the Fan Luan ancient sound palace. At this moment, this copper coin was glowing with a faint white light, as if it could be extinguished at any moment. Zhao Feng's expression changed dramatically. He had been keeping this copper coin in the misty spatial world this entire time. Why was it glowing for no reason? Zhao Feng held it in his hand, and he could feel a pulling force. This is a qin. Zhao Feng approached the green qin and gently stroked it. Unfortunately, he didn't understand music at all, and a few notes sounded. Several copper coins suddenly appeared in the little thieving cat's paws, and it threw them into his hand. What is the meaning of this? Zhao Feng closed his eyes. Why would the copper coin react when he found the place where the inheritor of the eyes of samsara once lived? Furthermore, it seemed to be a normal qin that caused the copper coin to react. Maybe this was the qin of the inheritor of the eyes of samsara. Was the copper coin telling Zhao Feng that the eyes of samsara could help him find Lu Qinxin? Or was there another reason? Zhao Feng tightly gripped the copper coin in his hand and thought for a long time, but he didn't understand. The copper coin in Zhao Feng's hand suddenly released a faint white light. Zhao Feng felt as if there was an indescribable line of fate on the copper coin that extended into the distance. Zhao Feng extended his arm and slowly moved it. At a certain moment, the faint light from the copper coin flashed for an instant before completely disappearing. The power within the copper coin seemed to have been completely used up. That's the north. Zhao Feng put the copper coin away and looked toward the north. Sacred Lord Star Demon had been standing behind Zhao Feng the entire time. He could see Zhao Feng's weird emotions and thought for a while. He sighed and didn't disturb Zhao Feng. Senior Star Demon, let's go back. Zhao Feng flew into the air a while later. After returning to the Ji family, Zhao Feng stayed in the same place as last time and went to Sacred Lord Star Demon's private hall every day. At this moment, Sacred Lord Star Demon had completely opened up his stash to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng immersed himself in the soul and eye bloodline theories and secret techniques every day, and Sacred Lord Star Demon would occasionally discuss the soul-splitting technique with Zhao Feng. On a certain day, Zhao Feng came to the Purple Star Tower once again. Zhao Feng had now obtained the permanent right to enter the Purple Star Tower. One had to know that only the Grand Elders of the Ji family had this right. Chapter 10-11. Young Sir Zhao, please. The elder in front of the Purple Star Tower stood up and said respectfully. Zhao Feng then entered the Purple Star Tower amidst the discussions of the other disciples. At this moment, Zhao Feng didn't need to worry about the number of times he could enter the Purple Star Tower, so he went straight to the 8th floor, which was suitable for sacred lords to cultivate. Of course, the 8th floor had a bigger effect on Zhao Feng than before. The 8th floor was suitable for sacred lords, and it obviously included the initial stages, early stages, and late stages of the mystic light realm. Because Zhao Feng had split his soul intent had dropped to the lowest level of the mystic light realm. The power of the purple mist on the 8th floor should be around the early stages of the mystic light realm. There were a total of 5 futons on the 8th floor, but there was no one there. Luckily, the Purple Star Tower can help me quickly condense my soul intent. Zhao Feng casually sat down on a futon. The soul-splitting technique was a technique that condensed the soul. The original idea of this technique was that after splitting into 2 souls, one's cultivation speed would be doubled, and the 2 souls could fuse together to a certain degree, increasing one's soul intent to a whole new level. However, because Zhao Feng's soul had merged with the Eye of Death, it couldn't merge back into Zhao Feng's soul. The original idea of the soul-splitting technique was to condense the soul, but in Zhao Feng's hands, it became a cloning technique. Zhao Feng circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique to condense his soul intent and comprehend other things at the same time. Within the dimension of his left eye, there was only 20% of the power of God Tribulation Lightning left in the demigod head. Because Zhao Feng's soul had split, a portion of the God Tribulation Lightning symbols had also been split off. The God Tribulation Lightning symbols were one of Zhao Feng's killing moves, and now that they had been weakened, it affected Zhao Feng a lot. Within the dimension of his left eye, Zhao Feng split off many thoughts and started to guide the God Tribulation Lightning into his soul. At the same time, in Zhao Feng's hand, there was only a small portion of the scorched black wood that contained the power of the ancient lightning. Moreover, because it had been stored for too long, the power of the ancient lightning on it could no longer be used as a carrier and had almost dissipated. Without saying anything else, Zhao Feng circulated his intent and guided the power of ancient lightning into his lightning soul body. Time passed. This time, Zhao Feng stayed on the 8th level for 10 hours. Then he stood up and left. After returning to his residence, Zhao Feng rested for a while before entering the ancient dream realm. Since I'm going to create the little world of illusions, it's definitely better to create it in the ancient dream realm. Zhao Feng had tasted the sweetness of the wind, thunder small world. Even if the imperial tombs weren't an ancient space, Zhao Feng's immemorial wind lightning small world was much stronger than an ordinary emperor's small world. However, most of the people that Zhao Feng was fighting against were sacred lords. With the power of their little world projections, Zhao Feng's little world of wind lightning should be able to completely block them. Therefore, it would be best if the level of the little world of illusions was the same as the little world of wind lightning. Last time, when Zhao Feng was cultivating in the Purple Star Tower, he had already completed the process of creating the little world of illusions. Now, Zhao Feng had started to create his little world. The core of the little world of illusions will be you. A bright white crystal pearl appeared in Zhao Feng's hand. It was extremely deep, and it radiated a weird energy that could move one's soul. This was the god crystal that Zhao Feng had obtained in the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground. However, the energy within this god crystal had been slightly depleted. Even if only half of the energy was left, it was still a treasure to Zhao Feng. God crystals were the crystallization of the power of true gods. Within the ancient dream realm, a purple mist appeared 100 yards around Zhao Feng. There was a maze, a castle, a fountain, and various other structures. Dark clouds covered the maze, and lightning crackled. Zhao Feng's little world of illusions was extremely condensed in the outside world, but it was transparent in the ancient dream realm. First, Zhao Feng carefully placed the god crystal within. Apart from that, the items that Zhao Feng had obtained in the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground were all extremely precious. Zhao Feng picked out a dark black ink stone. Zhao Feng didn't know what exactly this stone was, but it radiated a shocking mental energy. Zhao Feng didn't find anything wrong with it even after studying it for a long time. Therefore, Zhao Feng placed the dark black ink stone next to the god crystal. Zhao Feng didn't even know the names of the many treasures that he had obtained in the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground. However, the value of these treasures made Zhao Feng not dare to take them out to appraise, so he could only put them aside for now. Just like that, Zhao Feng went back and forth between his residence, Sacred Lord Star Demon's personal hall, and the Purple Star Tower. As Zhao Feng's soul strength and knowledge increased, the creation of his little world also progressed at the same time. More than a month later, Zhao Feng's soul recovery divine technique had reached the peak 8th level, but the embryonic form of his little world of illusions wasn't complete yet. Creating a little world was an extremely complicated process. For example, Zhao Feng had used 1.5 years to create his little world of wind lightning. Zhao Feng estimated that it would take at least 1 year to create his little world of illusions. Zhao Feng's consciousness suddenly moved. Very good, Zhao Wang has snuck into the Dark Ghost clan. Although Zhao Feng and Zhao Wang were separated by several provinces, they could still communicate with each other. Zhao Wang could even send some images to Zhao Feng. The soul clone was stronger than the Dark Heart Seal in every aspect. At this moment, Zhao Wang had successfully become an inner disciple of the Dark Ghost clan with his shocking talent. The Tao of Ghosts clan was an important 3-star subordinate power of 9 Darkness Palace, so they were very careless in their selection of disciples. Zhao Wang wasn't suspected at all. However, the rules of the Tao of Ghosts clan were extremely cruel and cold-blooded. They would turn a blind eye to the infighting between the disciples as long as they didn't kill them. Young Sir Zhao, Ji Lan requests to see you. On this day, Ji Lan's voice sounded outside Zhao Feng's residence. Zhao Feng soon pushed open the door. Young Sir Zhao, a letter for you. Ji Lan handed over a letter and left with a complicated expression. Right now, Zhao Feng was the Grand Elder of a normal 3-star power. He was the person that the Crown Prince placed the most importance on, and he was on the same level as Sacred Lord Star Demon of the Ji family. She never would have thought that Zhao Feng, who hadn't even reached the king level, would become like this and change so quickly. Ji Lan could only tell herself to work hard and cultivate. After interacting with Zhao Feng for a while, she realized that Zhao Feng never slacked off. Even though he had reached such a status and had strength that surpassed those of the same cultivation, he still cultivated and comprehended day and night. Zhao Feng tore open the letter. There was a piece of white paper inside. Zhao Feng's soul consciousness instantly entered it, and a wave of information appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. Information from Old Ing. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly. The war between Lord dynasties had started 10 months ago. Because the Great Gan Lord dynasty had sent out the conscription order, they were able to make up for the disadvantage, but they still didn't have a big advantage. In this situation, as the Crown Prince, the 9th Prince was sent to the battlefield by the Sacred Emperor and Empress. The first reason was to have the Crown Prince represent the Great Gan Lord dynasty and raise the morale of the front lines. The second reason was to train the Crown Prince's will and strategy. Excuses. Zhao Feng couldn't help but mock. If the 9th Prince stayed in the Imperial Palace, nothing would go wrong. If nothing went wrong, he would have a high chance of becoming the next emperor. However, if he was sent to the front lines, too many things could happen. All of this should have been planned by the other princes and their forces to the Sacred Emperor. Zhao Feng's voice was deep. After the 9th Prince was sent to the front lines, the other princes volunteered to go and fight for the country. If only the 9th Prince went to the front lines, he would have been relatively safe. However, now all the princes were going to the front lines. This war wasn't just a war between 2 Lord dynasties, it was also a war within the Great Gan Lord dynasty. The reason why Old Ing sent a letter to Zhao Feng was because he wanted Zhao Feng to go to the front lines and help the 9th Prince. Perfect, I need to train myself through battle. The letter in Zhao Feng's hand turned into dust. Ever since he returned to the past, Zhao Feng had killed many people, but his current strength had surpassed his previous life. It was time for him to train himself on the battlefield. Furthermore, Zhao Feng heard that war points could be exchanged for weapons, spiritual pills, or secret treasures. On this day, Zhao Feng arrived at where Sacred Lord Star Demon was staying. Something like this actually happened? Sacred Lord Star Demon's expression became grim. This was obviously not good for the 9th Prince. If Brother Zhao is going to the front lines, why don't you take a few disciples of the Ji family with you? Sacred Lord Star Demon made a request. Originally, the forces didn't want to let the talented geniuses of their forces enter the battlefield unless they were peerless geniuses like Xianyuan Wen and Yu Tianhao. It was obvious that Sacred Lord Star Demon trusted Zhao Feng a lot, which was why he was willing to give the geniuses of the Ji family to Zhao Feng. No problem. Although Zhao Feng felt that it would be troublesome, he still agreed. After all, Sacred Lord Star Demon had taken care of him too much while he was at the Ji family. Countless precious books, he could enter and leave the Purple Star Tower, and he had helped Zhao Feng solve his problems and analyze the soul-splitting technique. Sacred Lord Star Demon completely treated Zhao Feng as his last disciple, and Zhao Feng couldn't repay him. On the second day, Ji Wuye, Ji Lan, and Ji Tianming waited for Zhao Feng outside of the Ji family's residence. These 3 Ji family disciples were the most outstanding ones in the middle and upper echelons of the Ji family. They were young and lacked experience. They needed to be sharpened the most. Listen to my orders in the future. Zhao Feng said as he circulated his God Eye and left a God Eye mark on them in case anything unexpected happened. Understood. The 3 said at the same time. Zhao Feng stayed on the 8th floor of the Purple Star Tower while he was at the Ji family, so almost all the disciples of the Ji family knew his name. The three of them didn't have any objections to Zhao Feng's coldness and management. They understood that the Grand Elder was giving them a chance to learn, and it was also a chance to train themselves. Ji Lan's gaze was firm as she clenched her fists. She didn't know when, but Zhao Feng had become Ji Lan's goal. This was the best chance for her to catch up to Zhao Feng. Let's go! Zhao Feng took out the flying flaming chariot that he hadn't used in a long time. Although the speed of the flying flaming chariot wasn't as fast as any of them, it was more convenient. The flying flaming chariot was just big enough to fit them, and it was going to be a very long journey. The three disciples of the Ji family would take turns controlling the flying flaming chariot, and the others could use this long time to rest, comprehend, and cultivate. Our destination is the north. Chapter 10-12. On a certain day, a ray of seven-colored light flashed across the sky above Yu Province. Senior Zhao, I cultivate the Chaos Origin Purple Eye technique, but there's something I don't understand. The youngest Ji Tianming respectfully asked Zhao Feng. Ji Tianming was different from Ji Wuye and Ji Lan. This was his first time meeting Zhao Feng, so he was the most friendly. Zhao Feng had met Ji Wuye when his god eye had just evolved. Back then, Zhao Feng had defeated Ji Wuye in one move when he first tried to disassemble the technique. Let me see the technique. Zhao Feng hadn't cultivated the technique that Ji Tianming mentioned before, but he had stayed in the Ji family for the past few months to study the theories and secret techniques related to the soul and eye bloodline. With Zhao Feng's shocking ability to copy and learn, a short 1 or 2 months was equivalent to 5 or 6 years for others. Furthermore, the knowledge that Zhao Feng had come into contact with was of a higher level, and Sacred Lord Star Demon would sometimes answer Zhao Feng's questions. At this moment, Zhao Feng could be considered to be a grandmaster in terms of the soul and eye bloodline techniques. It should be a problem with your purple star eyes. Zhao Feng analyzed this Lotur technique and found the problem. Apart from answering the questions of the three disciples of the Ji family, Zhao Feng had been in seclusion the entire time. Many treasures appeared in front of Zhao Feng within the misty spatial world. The large amount of resources that Zhao Feng had traded for in the Heaven's Legacy City was enough for him to reach the level of a sacred lord. Zhao Feng circulated the 5 elemental wind lightning technique and absorbed the elements of wind, lightning, and fire. Within the dimension of his left eye, a part of Zhao Feng's consciousness kept on guiding the power of God Tribulation Lightning into his lightning soul body. The power of God Tribulation Lightning within the demigod head kept on decreasing. Zhao Feng would occasionally enter the ancient dream realm and create a little world of illusions. The group soon arrived in front of the teleportation spiritual hall. Zhao Feng revealed his identity, paid a certain amount of primal crystal stones, and went through the teleportation array to the next city. Senior Zhao, the next stop is the Qin province. The mechanisms and formations there are famous. Ji Tianming said to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng immediately understood what Ji Tianming meant. Although Zhao Feng's flying car was convenient, it wasn't fast enough. He could hire some formation masters in Qin province to improve its performance. All right. Zhao Feng agreed to Ji Tianming's proposal. The flaming chariot wasn't as useful to Zhao Feng as it was in the past. The most important thing was its speed. It was an extremely long journey from the south to the north of the continent. With the speed of this flaming chariot, who knew how long it would take to get there? Dozens of days later, the flaming chariot entered the border of Qin province. We're almost at the spiritual hall, said Ji Tianming, who was controlling the flaming chariot. Everyone who was cultivating opened their eyes. Each of the 18 provinces of the Great Gon Lord dynasty had many cities, and the busiest area of each city was a large spiritual hall. When they got close to the spiritual hall, they could see many experts going in and out, including giant flying beasts and even flying tools like Zhao Feng's. A black figure passed by Zhao Feng's flaming chariot. At the same time, 2 figures chased after it. Emperor Ghost Scales, let's see where you can run to. Surrender now. 2 figures, one black and one white, charged out from behind. Both of them were emperors, and the aura that the black figure gave off was enough to shake people's souls. The people nearby immediately moved away. Everyone was used to this kind of thing. Fighting wasn't allowed in the spiritual hall, so there were all kinds of people, including those who had committed heinous crimes and were trying to avoid being hunted down. Zhao Feng didn't put these things in his eyes, but the middle-aged man in white's roar woke Zhao Feng up. Zhao Feng's eyes flickered as he scanned the area with his spiritual sense. Stuff. Zhao Feng's voice suddenly sounded. One, a vast and boundless will descended upon the world, enveloping the three of them. The three people instantly slowed down, and Emperor Ghost Scales, who was at the front, felt like he was stuck in a swamp. Why are you interfering with the private matters of the divine official gate? The expression of the Emperor in black darkened as he looked at Zhao Feng. He was sure that he had never seen Zhao Feng before. From his point of view, Zhao Feng's strength should be a peak emperor, which was on par with him. What's going on? Emperor Ghost Scales looked at the golden-haired youth who had suddenly interfered. He didn't know Zhao Feng, but he was stopped by Zhao Feng. Emperor Ghost Scales didn't care what Zhao Feng wanted to do, he just wanted to live. The three disciples of the Ji family were also stunned. They didn't expect Zhao Feng to interfere in this kind of thing. Let him go, Zhao Feng said calmly. Zhao Feng also didn't expect to meet someone he knew from the Tsang Ocean here. This Emperor Ghost Scales was none other than Monarch Ghost Scales from the 18 Corners Pirate Sacred Land. Back when Zhao Feng was being chased by the Emperor of Death, he ran to the 18 Corners Pirate Sacred Land to ask for help. Monarch Ghost Scales, along with the Cold Moon Emperor and the Giant Shark King, helped Zhao Feng fend off the Emperor of Death. Zhao Feng still hadn't returned this favor. Emperor Ghost Scales' expression changed. He did not expect that the young great emperor who suddenly made a move was actually here to save him. However, he didn't seem to have made friends with someone like this ever since he came to the continent zone. The expression of the middle-aged man in white became grim. He didn't expect Emperor Ghost Scales to be so lucky to meet someone he knew, and he seemed to have some impression of this golden-haired youth. Aren't you being a bit too nosy? The Emperor in black harumphed. He could obviously tell that Zhao Feng wasn't simple and had such strength at such a young age. However, there were so many people watching. If he let Emperor Ghost Scales go just like that, he would lose all the face of his sect. Although the Divine Official Gate was only a peak 2-star sect, the Grand Elder of the Gate could become a sacred lord within 100 years. Come with me. Zhao Feng didn't bother with the two emperors and directly said to Emperor Ghost Scales. Thank you, young sir. Emperor Ghost Scales paused for a moment. Although there was something strange going on, there was nothing he could do right now. Furthermore, Emperor Ghost Scales felt that this youth in front of him didn't have any ill intentions. The other three people on the flying car were also elite geniuses. Monarch Ghost Scales immediately flew toward Zhao Feng. The gazes of the two emperors from the Divine Official Gate were extremely grim. You're courting death. The black-robed emperor suddenly attacked, and a wave of true yuan rippled in the air. He could tell that Zhao Feng and the disciples of the Ji family weren't simple, so he didn't attack them rashly. Instead, he waved his fists and charged toward Emperor Ghost Scales. Heaven and earth instantly darkened as streaks of black light flashed in the black-robed emperor's fists. You won't listen to my advice. Zhao Feng's expression became cold, and a surge of soul intent formed a dark purple crystal spike that shot into the black-robed emperor's mind. The symbols of God tribulation lightning on it started to flash. Arg! A scream sounded in the soul dimension. The nearby experts instantly felt the aura of an emperor's yuan's soul falling. The black-robed emperor's body fell down. Sii. The spectating experts all took in cold breaths. The white-robed emperor felt a coldness spread from the bottom of his feet to his entire body, and he started to shiver. The black-robed emperor was instantly killed by Zhao Feng just like that. Emperor Ghost Scales' body trembled as he looked at Zhao Feng. He felt that this youth was even scarier. However, Emperor Ghost Scales suddenly thought of another youth who was very similar to this golden-haired youth in front of him. Tell the leader of the Divine Official Gate to come apologize in 10 days. Zhao Feng looked at the white-robed emperor and said coldly. Originally, if the two emperors knew what was good for them, they would let this matter go. Zhao Feng didn't put a mere peak 2-star sect in his eyes at all. However, Zhao Feng killed this person right away because he saw that King Ghost Scales was severely injured. There were even some old injuries that were left behind a long time ago. It was obvious that they were caused by being chased for a long time. This was also to help King Ghost Scales get revenge. Then, the white-robed emperor quickly ran away in panic. Emperor Ghost Scales' body shook as he looked at Zhao Feng in disbelief. King Ghost Scales, long time no see. I didn't expect you to come to the continent zone. Zhao Feng looked at Emperor Ghost Scales. Zhao Feng? Hearing that, Emperor Ghost Scales thought back to the Tsang Ocean and the way this youth attacked. King Ghost Scales was only a peak-tier king back then, and it was because he came to the continent that he became an emperor in just a few years. Emperor Ghost Scales then followed Zhao Feng into the spiritual palace. Ji Wuya, I'll leave the task of improving the flaming chariot to you. Zhao Feng gave this task to Ji Wuya, who was the most mature and intelligent of the three. It would take a long time to improve the flaming chariot, so the three from the Ji family left and entered the spiritual palace to buy some resources. Zhao Feng, thank you. Emperor Ghost Scales had a joyful expression as he thanked Zhao Feng. Why were you chased by them? Zhao Feng asked. When we came to the continent, we accidentally found a sacred lord's tomb. Emperor Ghost Scales sighed and slowly told the story. In reality, there were other pirate captains that came with Emperor Ghost Scales. They accidentally found a sacred lord's tomb, and while fighting for the inheritance, they killed a disciple of the Divine Official Gate. King Ghost Scales and the Divine Official Gate each obtained a portion of the inheritance. Therefore, the Divine Official Gate chased after Emperor Ghost Scales and company until only Emperor Ghost Scales was left. This Divine Official Gate. Zhao Feng's expression became grim. He originally thought that Emperor Ghost Scales had done something evil, but he still decided to help Emperor Ghost Scales first. After all, he owed him a favor. Zhao Feng, I didn't expect you to have such accomplishments in the continent. Emperor Ghost Scales revealed a joyful expression, and respect flashed through his eyes. When he heard about what happened to Zhao Feng in the Crown Prince trial, he always thought that this Zhao Feng only had the same name as the Zhao Feng they knew. As expected, no matter where Zhao Feng went, his talent couldn't be hidden. Zhao Feng recounted how he had reincarnated and taken over another body. Emperor Ghost Scales didn't rely on any force when he came to the continent, so he didn't know about Zhao Feng's reincarnation. However, someone like Emperor Ghost Scales wasn't suitable to join a sect. However, when Emperor Ghost Scales knew that Zhao Feng was going to the front lines, he was very proactive and wanted to go with Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng obviously wouldn't reject this. 5 days later, Zhao Feng received a message from Ji Wuya that the flaming chariot had been upgraded. We can leave now. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.